Welcome to the final course in this certification, Introduction to Applying UX Design in Practice, Accessibility, and Collaboration. In this course, you'll take your UX design skills to the next level and learn how to make your designs truly shine. You'll get into accessibility, collaboration, and the exciting world of AI in design. There's a lot to go through, so let's go. Ben, we have a mission. Our client needs a redesigned website, but not just any website. This one needs to work for everyone.
Everyone? That's a tall order.
Yup. Think about our users with vision impairment or motor skill limitations. We're designing for anyone and everyone. It's called accessibility, and it's not an afterthought. It's actually mission critical. You'll learn how to design for those who experience the web differently.
Whoa, thinking about all these perspectives is mind-blowing. Okay, I admit I'm a bit nervous. Where do we start?
First, you'll build mockups. Think detailed blueprints for your design. You'll become versed in things like color and layout, all those details that make a huge difference for users.
But what about all the different phones and tablets?
I've got you covered. You'll learn how your designs change for each device and the golden rules to make sure they never break. Here's the coolest part, AI tools. These will be a part of your mission, helping you work smarter, not harder.
This sounds really exciting, but I'm worried about doing this all by myself.
Don't worry, Ben. No UX designer works alone. This course is about teamwork. You'll learn to share ideas, give feedback, and we'll build off each other's work. And to cap it off, you'll power up your portfolio and turn your work into a showcase that lands you that dream UX job.
Wow, I'm looking forward to this course. I'm ready for the mission. Let's go.
Hi, everyone. Whether you're a beginner or seasoned in designing digital experiences, strong visual design is a must-have. Visual design takes your sketches, ideas, and wireframes and transforms them into beautiful, engaging interfaces that people love. In this video, we'll explore the core principles of visual design and how to bring your mockups to life. By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe how you can apply visual design principles to transform a basic wireframe into a visually appealing and user-friendly mockup. Let's start with a quick question. Why is visual design so important in UX/UI? Think of it like this. Visual design is the first impression your website or app makes on a user. It has the power to attract and retain their attention, guide their actions, and ultimately shape their overall experience. Good visual design makes your product intuitive and reinforces its functionality. Think of it like a great storefront. It entices people to come inside. Now, let's dive into the core principles that will help you create effective visual designs. Visual hierarchy, color contrast, typography, white space, consistency, and alignment. This image shows you the before and after versions of a design when you apply these core principles. We'll begin with visual hierarchy. Hierarchy helps users understand what information is most important. You can achieve this through size, font variations, color, and placement of elements on the screen. Think of hierarchy as your design's table of contents. It helps users scan quickly and find what they need. Keep these tips in mind. Think about font weight. Bolder fonts naturally draw more attention, adding to the hierarchical structure. Consider color contrast. A bright element against a muted background will pop out, guiding the user's eye. You should also consider isolation. An element surrounded by ample white space stands out more than one nestled among multiple elements. Next up is color. Color has a huge impact on mood, perception, and usability. Pick a color palette that aligns with your brand and creates the right emotional connection. Make sure text has enough contrast with the background for readability, especially for users who might have visual impairments. Other color considerations include: always think about accessibility. Ensure high contrast between text and background colors. Use online tools to check your color combinations against visual accessibility standards like WCAG guidelines. A beautiful design is useless if part of your audience can't read it. Consider your color schemes. Explore resources on color theory to build your confidence in creating palettes. Look into concepts like analogous colors, next to each other on the color wheel, or complementary colors, opposite on the color wheel, for visually pleasing combinations. You should also think about the typography you choose. Fonts matter. Choose clear, readable fonts that reflect your brand's personality. Use font sizes and weights intentionally to establish hierarchy and guide the user's eye. Keep an eye on your line spacing, which is also referred to as leading. This is the space between lines of text. Too cramped, and your design is overwhelming. Too much space, and it's hard to see which sentences connect. Strike a balance for readability. Another principle is white space. White space, or negative space, is the empty space around your design elements. It's not just about making things look less cluttered. It creates breathing room, adds focus, and improves overall readability. Think of it as giving your eyes a break. Now, think about alignment. You should align elements in a clear and organized way. This gives your design a sense of structure and makes it look polished. Here are some tips. Use grid systems. Although not always visible, grids are your secret weapon. They provide underlying structure, even when you choose to break free from them occasionally. Research grid layouts commonly used in design. Evaluate the visual flow. Think of how a user's eye will travel through the page. Alignment can subtly guide them from one important element to the next, creating a seamless experience. The last visual principle is consistency. Consistency is key. Use the same colors, fonts, and design styles throughout your interface. This creates a sense of trust and makes your product easier to use, as users don't have to relearn things every time they move to a new screen. The best way to understand these principles is to see them in action. Let's analyze a real-world example. Think of a website or app you love using. Try to pinpoint which elements of the visual design make it so appealing and easy to navigate. Another great exercise is to find a website or app that you think needs improvement. Analyze its visual design and come up with ways to make it better. Apply the principles of hierarchy, color, typography, white space, alignment, and consistency. Luckily, you don't need to be a graphic design wizard to create visually appealing interfaces. Many excellent UI design tools streamline the process. Some popular options include Figma, Sketch, and Adobe XD. These tools offer templates, pre-designed elements, and collaboration features. Always remember, your design isn't for you, it's for your users. Getting feedback through user testing is essential. Observe how users interact with your interface. What do they find intuitive? What causes confusion? Refine your design based on those insights. Visual design might seem intimidating at first, but with practice and understanding of core principles, you'll be well on your way to creating interfaces that both look amazing and provide a stellar user experience. Keep experimenting. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and most importantly, have fun with it.
In this video, we're diving into the exciting world of transforming your basic wireframes into vibrant, high-fidelity mockups. This is where your design truly comes to life. We'll be using Figma, a powerful design tool that's become an industry favorite. By the end of this video, you'll be able to compose a high-fidelity design from a low-fidelity mockup, use usability testing feedback to refine high-fidelity mockups, describe the building blocks of visual design, and apply them to your own designs. Imagine you have this simple, low-fidelity mock-up flow. It's the skeleton of your design. It was enough to get some initial usability feedback from testing with users. It's functional, but it's missing that visual spark. Our goal now is to add that spark while using any feedback we received from testing to make our designs more user-friendly. The combo of visual design and iteration based on testing will turn this lo-fi flow into a design that feels real, interactive, and user-friendly. Let's start with this section. Notice how it's just boxes and repetitive text? This is where our visual design principles come in. First, color. Your color palette is crucial. It sets the mood, guides the user, and reinforces your brand. Let's take a look at this button, for example. If we want it to look disabled until the user has made selections, we'll want to use a soft grey. Then, once the user has made a recipe selection, the button colour changes, which helps indicate to the user that they can now move forward. Choose colours that not only look good together, but also make sense for your target audience and the purpose of your design. See how a few well-chosen colours instantly bring this section to life? Now it feels more inviting and purposeful. Next up, typography. This isn't just about choosing fonts, it's about hierarchy, readability, and personality. Your headers should stand out, body text should be easy on the eyes, and your font choices should reflect the overall feel of your design. As we add more realistic content to our designs, we'll start to really see how typography choices impact the readability and feel of our mockups. Notice how different font styles and sizes create a clear visual hierarchy. This helps users quickly understand what's most important. Let's talk about visuals. This could be photographs, illustrations, or icons. High-quality visuals can elevate your design, making it more engaging, memorable, and high fidelity. Look at the transformation. We've gone from a basic structure to something that feels polished and professional. But we're not done yet. Visual cues like shadows and depth can add a sense of realism to your mockup. Notice how this button looks more clickable with a subtle drop shadow? It creates the illusion of depth and interactivity. Grids and alignment are your secret weapons. They help you create a balanced and harmonious layout. Everything should feel intentional, not randomly placed. Now, let's make this mockup feel interactive. We can add hover effects, transitions, and even basic animations to give the user a sense of what it will be like to actually use this product. Here's our final result. It's a far cry from the original wireframe, isn't it? This is the power of applying visual design principles to your mockups. Remember, Figma is just a tool. The real magic comes from your creativity and understanding of these principles. You can find plenty of resources online for color palettes, font pairings, and design inspiration. Don't be afraid to experiment. Now it's your turn. Take your wireframes and start experimenting. Transform them into mockups that tell a story, guide the user, and spark joy. And remember, great design is an iterative process. Get feedback, make adjustments, and never stop learning. I'm excited to see what you create.
You've progressed from wireframes and low-fidelity prototypes to the exciting world of high-fidelity mockups. They look remarkably close to the final product, with detailed visuals, near-real interactions, and a polished feel. But as the level of detail increases, so do the potential challenges. Let's tackle common hurdles you might face at this stage and how to overcome them. By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe how to overcome the most common challenges UX designers encounter when creating high-fidelity mockups. The first challenge is getting bogged down in the details. With high-fidelity mockups, it's easy to become obsessed with the details. Although these matter, don't lose sight of the big picture. Here's how to strike a balance. Start by focusing on key flows. Before diving into icon design, ensure that core user journeys are smooth and logical. Does the overall flow of the design make sense for accomplishing tasks? Next, use progressive disclosure. Don't overwhelm users. Start with the essential elements on each screen. Then, use tooltips or expandable sections to reveal secondary details as needed. Finally, use placeholder content. Don't get stuck writing perfect copy for every button in early iterations. Use realistic placeholder text, like lorem ipsum, to indicate content without getting hung up on wording. A second challenge is the limitations of mockup tools. Even the best mockup tools have their limitations. You might get excited about a complex interaction, only to realize it's not easily achievable in your chosen tool. Here are some tips for managing these limitations. First, know your tools. Spend time exploring the advanced features of your mockup software. You might be surprised by its hidden capabilities. Next, be clear about faking it. Sometimes you'll need to visually suggest a complex interaction in a static mockup. Use clear annotations or notes on the side explaining how the intended interaction should function. And remember to collaborate with developers. The earlier you involve developers in the process, the better they can advise on what's feasible and guide you towards design solutions that are easier to implement. Another challenge you face is with creating realistic interactions. High-fidelity mockups raise user expectations. They want to click, swipe, and interact in ways that feel just like the final product. How do you bridge that gap? Start by examining micro-interactions. Pay attention to the small yet satisfying details. How does a button subtly change on hover or tap? Do menus slide in smoothly? Next, keep animation principles such as easing and timing in mind. Easing refers to how an object starts and stops its motion. To avoid abrupt movements, easing creates a graceful acceleration and deceleration. Timing refers to the speed of an object's movement. Even without full-blown animation capabilities in your tool, understanding basic animation principles like these will help you communicate your intent to developers for smoother implementations. Evaluate whether you need prototypes versus mockups. Know when to switch tools. If interactions are getting so complex that it's hard to explain them in a mockup, consider using a prototyping tool specialized in showcasing interactions. It's also challenging to maintain consistency at scale in high-fidelity mockups. As your mockups get more numerous and detailed, keeping everything consistent becomes a mammoth task. This is where it pays off to think strategically. Try to use a design system. A design system is like a blueprint for your product's visual language. It documents color palettes, typography, button styles, spacing rules, and more. Invest time in creating one, even if it's initially basic. You should also create component libraries. Most mockup tools allow you to create reusable components. Design a button once, then use it everywhere, ensuring consistency and saving tons of time. Remember to hold regular review sessions. Schedule check-ins to review your mockups as a team, specifically to catch any inconsistencies that might have crept in. The last common challenge we're discussing today is stakeholder feedback overload. High-fidelity mockups invite detailed feedback from stakeholders, which can be both a blessing and a curse. Strategies to manage stakeholder feedback include guiding the feedback. Don't just present the mockups and wait. Brief stakeholders beforehand on the specific areas you want their input on. Are you focusing on interaction flows, visual style, or overall content? Take the time to consolidate feedback. Don't get overwhelmed by conflicting opinions. Collect all the feedback in one place and then organize it before taking action. And know when to push back. Stakeholders sometimes provide quick solutions disguised as feedback. Respect their input, but be confident defending your design decisions if they're rooted in user-centered principles. By tackling these challenges head-on in your high-fidelity mockups, you're well on your way to achieving a polished and user-friendly final product. Remember these key points. Focus on the essentials before getting lost in the details. Ensure the core user journeys are intuitive and satisfying. Understand the limitations of your tools and collaborate with developers for smooth implementation of complex interactions. Pay attention to micro-interactions as they contribute greatly to a polished user experience. Build a solid design system and use reusable components to maintain consistency throughout your designs. Manage stakeholder feedback strategically to avoid getting derailed. Stay focused on the user. Don't forget, creating great designs is an ongoing process. Embrace the challenges, learn from each iteration, and keep those user needs at the heart of your work. Have you ever designed something you thought was brilliant only to watch users struggle with it? It's a humbling experience, but also a fantastic opportunity for improvement. One of the most powerful ways to create truly user-centered designs is to gather and incorporate feedback throughout the design process. Let's explore how to get the most out of user input and evolve your mockups accordingly. By the end of this video, you'll be able to analyze user feedback from usability testing and translate it into actionable improvements for high-fidelity mockups. Before we look at techniques, let's address why feedback is so critical. As designers, you often get close to your own work. You might miss obvious usability flaws because you inherently know how your designs are meant to function. Users, on the other hand, come with a fresh perspective. They can highlight pain points, such as unintuitive interactions that cause frustration or confusion. Users can also help you identify unmet needs. These are features they were hoping for but don't exist in your current design. Users can even help you find unexpected use cases, clever ways users interact with your product that you hadn't even considered. By understanding these issues from the user's point of view, you can refine your mockups to deliver a better experience. Now, let's look at how to approach feedback analysis. This is where you really get to know your users. Start by carefully reviewing all the data you've collected during usability testing. This could be qualitative data like observations, comments, and interviews, as well as quantitative data like task completion rates, error rates, and time on task. Next, organize the feedback. As you sift through this information, look for patterns and trends. Now you can consolidate the feedback. Don't be overwhelmed by scattered feedback. Put all your insights into a spreadsheet or use sticky notes to organize them visually. When you have the feedback organized, categorize it. Create tags or categories such as navigation, color, feature requests, or clarity. This lets you see high-level patterns emerge. Finally, identify any pain points. Pay extra attention to where multiple users experience the same roadblocks. Are there certain tasks that users consistently struggle with? Are there specific elements of the design that cause confusion or frustration? Identifying these recurring issues is key to understanding what needs to be improved. Your next task is to prioritize the feedback you want to address. Start with the impact on core goals. Which feedback, if addressed, would make the biggest positive impact on your product's main purpose? Is it smoother onboarding, more sales, easier task completion? Next, consider feasibility. Sometimes users have fantastic ideas that are beyond your technical or budget constraints in the current project. Keep an inspiration list for the future, but focus on actionable feedback first. Finally, identify the quick wins versus big overhauls. Can you make small tweaks with big impacts on satisfaction? Prioritizing a few of these can boost morale while you plan for more complex changes. When you have a prioritized list of issues, it's time to brainstorm solutions. This is where your creativity and problem-solving skills come into play. Consider different approaches and weigh the pros and cons of each. It's also helpful to involve other team members in this process, as they may offer fresh perspectives and valuable insights. Remember, the goal of analyzing user feedback isn't just to fix problems, but to uncover opportunities to make your design truly exceptional. Look for ways to go above and beyond user expectations. Can you streamline a process? Can you make a feature more intuitive? By focusing on delighting users, you'll create a design that stands out from the crowd. As you start implementing changes, keep in mind the importance of maintaining consistency. Although you want to address user feedback, you also don't want to sacrifice the overall coherence and flow of your design. Strive to integrate changes seamlessly, ensuring that they enhance the user experience without disrupting the existing visual language. It's time to explore solutions. Keep these tips in mind. Don't reinvent the wheel. Chances are the problem the user describes has been solved before. Research how other successful products in a similar space tackle the same issue. Next, collaborate. Don't feel like you need to have all the answers yourself. Bounce ideas off other designers, developers, or even representative users for fresh perspectives. If necessary, sketch it out. Don't get stuck overthinking. Draw quick, rough sketches of potential solutions. The act of visualizing often sparks new ideas. You're now ready to iterate on your mockups. Begin by making focused revisions. Don't redesign the entire product because of a few critical comments. Pinpoint specific sections for revision based on the prioritized feedback. Be sure to document your work. Note the why behind every change you make. This is vital for your own future reference, plus doing so ensures alignment if working within a team. Iterate using different fidelity levels. As you iterate, your mockups might start at low fidelity, basic sketches, before you refine them into detailed designs. Remember, you have to repeat the cycle. Getting feedback is not a one-and-done activity. The best designs are continuously refined. Make it a habit to gather input in multiple rounds, with your mockups evolving in their level of fidelity as you go. Finally, feedback can be uncomfortable, but don't be defensive. Check your ego at the door. Remember, user feedback is not a personal attack on your design skills, but rather a chance to make your product the best it can be. Analyze, categorize, and prioritize the feedback so that you know just what to do to improve your product.
Hey there! In this lesson, you'll compare and contrast user journeys on mobile and web platforms. While doing this, you'll see some key differences in design requirements. Let's start the journey. Maya's day is packed. Luckily, she's got technology at her fingertips to power through it. Like a lot of you, she's bouncing between her phone and laptop. Let's peek inside her digital world. Uh-oh, looks like trouble brewing.
Ugh, why can't I find the order button? It's usually at the bottom of a screen, but it's not there. Is it a tiny icon somewhere? Ugh, this is ridiculous.
Ever notice how some websites and apps are a dream to use, while others make you want to pull your hair out? That's the magic of UX design. UX designers shape how you interact with technology, making it smooth and enjoyable. In Maya's case, she was struggling with the UX of the coffee ordering app. In our UX world, users like Maya build mental models based on familiar app patterns. Breaking those conventions leads to confusion and frustration. Just ask Maya. Now, let's see what she's up to next.
Okay, airline tickets. Let's compare prices. This website is a breeze to navigate. It's got filters for everything. Dates, times, even the number of stops I want. And look, the best deals are highlighted in green. Perfect.
Maya is onto something here. Good UX helps users focus on what matters by providing clear filters, sorting options, and visual cues to highlight the most compelling options. I bet Maya will get a great deal on her airline tickets. Now, what's Maya up to next?
This app is cool, but the text is so tiny I can barely read it. It looks like they just shrunk down the website version instead of actually designing for my phone.
The user perspective is critical when it comes to the UX of websites and apps. Small screens, touch screens, fast decisions. Mobile design has unique challenges. One thing to consider is responsive design. Websites and apps need to adapt to different screen sizes gracefully. Shrinking things isn't the answer. Content needs to be rearranged and reformatted for readability. Let's see what's next for Maya.
This website's navigation is perfect. I can find anything with just a few clicks. My eyes are immediately drawn to the most important stuff, and I don't even have to think about where to click next.
On websites, you have more space to work with, but that also means more choices on where to put things. You'll use information architecture and other elements, including visual hierarchy, to guide users' attention and make it clear what's most important on a page. Maya had a busy day, using both her phone and her laptop. As you continue on your UX journey, you'll follow Maya's path and compare mobile and web experiences. You'll learn how to design for each platform, and by the end, you'll design your own web and mobile experiences, making them user-friendly and awesome. Let's hear some final words from Maya.
I can't wait to start building great websites and apps. Based on my experiences, I know that with good UX design, anyone can have a smooth, enjoyable time online.
Welcome to this case study exploring the crucial distinctions between designing for mobile and for the web. Whether you're building an app or crafting a beautiful website, understanding the unique challenges and opportunities of each platform is key for creating fantastic user experiences. In this video, we'll dive into the world of mobile and web design, uncovering the factors that drive design decisions in both spaces. By the end of this video, you'll be able to analyze case studies of successful apps or websites designed for specific platforms, such as mobile or web, identifying the platform-specific design patterns and best practices implemented. First, let's set the stage by starting with some context. Mobile devices have become an indispensable part of our lives. Smartphones and tablets provide convenient access to information and services on the go. On the other hand, the web continues its reign as a vast platform reaching users around the world, with laptops and desktops as their traditional gateways. Although both mobile and web experiences are about serving user needs, the way we interact with each platform creates a whole different set of possibilities and limitations. Next, think about the key differences between mobile and web design. What about the screen size and input? Probably the most obvious difference is screen real estate. Mobile devices offer limited space and rely heavily on touch input. Websites often cater to larger screens with the precision of a mouse or trackpad for navigation. Think about this. When's the last time you struggled to tap the correct button in an app? Have you had that problem on a laptop or desktop? Consider the context of use. How and where people use their devices also has a big impact. People often turn to their phones for quick tasks like checking social media or looking up directions. Web browsing might be more common for longer, more focused activities like in-depth research or online shopping. How about connectivity? Mobile apps can often work offline, while websites generally need an internet connection. There are ways to design websites to function with limited connectivity, but native apps have a built-in edge. This is crucial if your users are likely to be on the move or in areas with spotty reception. And think about performance. Let's talk speed. Well-designed native mobile apps tend to feel more responsive, as they're optimized specifically for a user's device. Websites may face greater variability, having to load all sorts of content and run code within a browser environment. Let's look at a hypothetical scenario. Say you're building a platform for a local restaurant. What considerations guide your choice between building a native mobile app or designing a responsive website? Here's how those key differences we discussed might play out. Do customers want to order on the go? If the restaurant wants customers to place orders on the go, a mobile app's ease of use, speed, and potential online capabilities could make it the clear winner. What about supporting casual browsing? If the focus is on showcasing the menu, atmosphere, and maybe a simple reservation system, a beautifully designed website could be the right fit. Consider the user base and budget. Your decision also depends on who your users are and your project budget. Building native apps for both iOS and Android platforms takes greater resources than crafting a single responsive website. Keep in mind that it's not always one or the other. Interestingly, the line between mobile apps and the web is getting blurry. Advanced web technologies allow websites to offer more app-like features, even storing some data offline. Still, there's always a trade-off between broader reach and deeper functionality. One of the biggest factors blurring the lines is the development of progressive web apps, or PWAs. These are essentially websites that can be installed on a user's device, like an app, offering a lot of the benefits traditionally associated with native apps, such as offline access. PWAs cache data, so core functionality can work even without an active internet connection. Push notifications. Just like apps, PWAs can send users updates and reminders. Hardware access. PWAs can increasingly utilize phone features like the camera, GPS, and other onboard sensors. Advantages of PWAs over mobile apps include a reduced development cost. You don't need to build separate code bases for iOS and Android, streamlining development. You also have a broader reach. Because PWAs are web-based, they're accessible across a wide range of devices and operating systems. Finally, think about discoverability. PWAs can be indexed by search engines, potentially boosting organic traffic. Although PWAs are incredibly useful, they aren't a magic bullet. They still have some limitations compared to native mobile apps, starting with performance. Native apps tend to have a slight edge in speed and responsiveness, especially with complex tasks. Now, think about hardware integration. The PWA's access to all device features might not be as robust as with a native app. You should also consider App Store presence. You can't list PWAs in traditional app stores, which can impact their discoverability for some audiences. So, when is implementing a PWA a good option? Consider your budget and timeline first. If your resources are limited, PWAs offer a faster and more cost-effective path. Also, what about frequency of use? For occasional interactions, the ease of a PWA might be perfect. And consider the feature requirements. If your application does not rely heavily on device features or super high performance, a PWA is perfect. In conclusion, choosing between mobile and web, including PWAs, is not an either-or situation. Often, the best approach involves a combination. You might find that your best solution is a slick website as your foundational presence, a PWA that provides core functionality and accessibility, and an app focused on specific, frequently used features. Remember, success in UX design is all about tailoring solutions to the right context.
Hey there, welcome back. By the end of this visual design, high-fidelity mockups, and platform considerations wrap-up video, you'll be able to identify key points of the module and connect these key points to entry-level UX designer career development. Let's get started.
This new coffee shop app is a total mess. The colors are weird, the buttons are tiny, and nothing makes sense. I just want a simple iced latte, and I can't figure out how to order it.
Frustrating experiences like this are where UX designers come in. In this module, you've learned about the skills needed to make a huge difference. Let's get back to Maya and see how she uses those skills to transform the coffee ordering app.
Okay, let's see if I can come up with a better solution for this coffee ordering app. I can use visual design principles to address color, balance, and spacing. I'm pretty sure with some adjustments, I can make ordering a coffee drink super easy. First, I'll make those buttons bigger and clearer, and maybe change the background color to something less harsh.
Maya is on the right track. Next, she'll transform her sketches to high-fidelity mockups, which are like a final draft or model. High-fidelity mockups show clients, developers, and everyone on your team exactly what the final product will look like before a single line of code is written. They'll see the final user interface, but without the interactivity.
Wow, see how much better that looks? I can clearly see how to order a coffee drink. With these high-fidelity mockups, I can get feedback on the user interface to make it even more user-friendly.
Maya's high-fidelity mockups are great, but she's not done. She knows that designing for different platforms is crucial. What works on a website might not work on a phone. Your skills in mobile and web design will make sure your designs shine no matter what device people are using.
Okay, check this out. The coffee ordering app has been updated, just like I had envisioned. It looks amazing. Now it's so easy to order my iced latte.
And this is what it's all about. Making users' interactions with technology smooth, easy, and enjoyable. If you can master visual design, high-fidelity mockups, and platform considerations, you'll be well on your way in your UX design career. Hello and welcome. In this module, you'll learn about inclusive design and the corresponding core principles. You'll also become familiar with accessibility standards and guidelines and be able to identify considerations for accessibility and inclusive design. Finally, you'll evaluate examples of inclusive design. There's a lot to get through. Let's get going. Meet Sarah. She's using her phone to find the best pastry shop because, her day is not complete without a tasty pastry. Finding the best place should be easy, right? Sites with good design make it a breeze. Sarah can read reviews, see the menus, and make an informed decision on the best sweet treat. And now let's meet Robert. He's trying to use the kiosk at the bus stop to see the bus schedule. The text is too small and the buttons are confusing. He's frustrated. Technology can go both ways. When it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, it's so frustrating. Websites, apps, and even public kiosks all need to be designed so everyone can use them, regardless of age, ability, or background. That's where accessibility and inclusive design come in. Not sure what inclusive design is? It's the idea of creating products and experiences that work for as many people as possible. Consideration should be taken for different abilities, preferences, or situations. Good design doesn't leave anyone out. Think of the features you take for granted. Clear headings, color contrast, or simple layouts. They make a big difference. Sarah has easily found the best pastry shop, but consider the flip side, Robert's frustration with the kiosk. The text is too small, the colors don't work, and the instructions are unclear. He's over it. Two people, two different experiences with designs. The good news is there are standards and guidelines for inclusive design. In fact, in this module, you'll learn the tools and knowledge to make sure designs work for all kinds of amazing people, including Robert. By understanding these principles and practices, you'll be equipped to create incredible digital experiences that are accessible, welcoming, and user-friendly for everyone.
In today's rapidly evolving marketplace, businesses can no longer afford to overlook the importance of inclusive design. Inclusive design means creating products and services that are accessible and usable by the widest range of people possible, regardless of their abilities, backgrounds, or circumstances. This isn't just about being ethical. It's about making sound business decisions that lead to innovation, broaden reach, and a more positive brand reputation. Let's explore why inclusive design should be at the forefront of any company's strategy. By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe the benefits of inclusive design, including reaching a wider audience, improving brand reputation, and complying with legal requirements. The numbers speak for themselves. Globally, over 1 billion people live with some form of disability. That's roughly 15% of the world's population, a customer base larger than entire countries. People with disabilities control substantial disposable income. A 2018 report estimated that the global market opportunity for products and services catering to people with disabilities represents about $8 trillion. Companies that exclude this demographic by creating inaccessible websites, apps, or products are not only missing out on a massive potential revenue stream, but they're also doing a disservice to a considerable segment of the population. Additionally, as populations around the world age, the need for easy-to-use, inclusive solutions will only soar. Older adults are more likely to experience age-related impairments, such as decreased vision, hearing, or mobility. Designing with these users in mind doesn't just increase your current audience, it future-proofs your business as the world's demographics shift. It's important to recognize that the term disabilities covers a vast spectrum. There are people with permanent physical disabilities, sensory impairments, cognitive differences, and temporary or situational limitations. Designing inclusively means considering all of these diverse needs. Businesses that make inclusivity a priority tap into a vast, loyal market and gain a powerful edge over their less inclusive competitors. Inclusive design isn't just about designing for people with disabilities. It's about recognizing that everyone experiences the world in their own unique way. Consider language barriers, temporary impairments like a broken arm, or even situational limitations like trying to use a website in a crowded bus. When you design inclusively, you create user experiences that are adaptable and welcoming to a broader audience. This translates to better customer satisfaction, increased brand loyalty, and a more positive company image. Constraints often force us to think differently. When you design for those who are frequently at the margins, you start to uncover better solutions for everyone. Many innovations we now take for granted originated with specific needs. History is filled with groundbreaking inventions and technologies that originated from the desire to address the needs of people with disabilities. Let's explore a few examples. The typewriter was initially conceived to help a countess who was blind communicate through written letters. This innovation revolutionized communication worldwide. How about text messaging or SMS messages? Did you know that SMS was developed in part to aid people with hearing impairments? Now it's an everyday communication tool for billions around the globe. Those sloped sidewalk edges you see on corners? They were initially designed for wheelchair users, but now benefit people with strollers, luggage, or even grocery carts. And then there's OXO Good Grips. These kitchen tools with the comfortable, chunky handles started with a founder seeking to ease his wife's arthritis. Today, they're popular with everyone seeking a better cooking experience. When you design for people at the margins, you have to approach problems from new angles. Solutions that meet the needs of people with constraints often turn out to have universal appeal. We call this the curb-cut effect. What starts as a specific accessibility solution frequently leads to mainstream improvements that make things better for everyone. Although the positive aspects of inclusive design should be motivation enough, there's also a strong legal dimension to consider. Increasingly, regulations worldwide are mandating digital accessibility in both the public and private sectors. In the United States, the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, has been interpreted to cover websites and apps. Noncompliance can result in costly lawsuits and damaging public relations. It's far more practical to implement inclusive design practices from the start. You might be wondering how to put inclusive design into practice. The good news is, inclusive design doesn't have to be overwhelming. Here are some key steps. Understand accessibility guidelines. Familiarize yourself with the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, the international standard for digital accessibility. Involve diverse users. Include people with disabilities in your user research and testing throughout the design process. Use inclusive design tools. Many web and design tools offer built-in accessibility features and checkers to help you along the way. Invest in training. Educate your teams on the principles and practices of inclusive design. By recognizing the immense value that inclusive design brings, forward-thinking businesses can position themselves for greater success. Not only is it a matter of social responsibility, but it also drives innovation, expands your customer base, and builds a stronger, more ethical brand identity. Thanks for taking the time to explore the business case for inclusive design.
Hello and welcome. In this video, you'll see a day in the life of a user with visual impairments, complete with both challenges and successes. To start, let's meet Amelia. Like many of us, Amelia relies on her phone for everyday tasks. But Amelia has a visual impairment, making even simple things tricky.
Ugh, where is it? I can barely see the screen. Is that the alarm or just a notification?
Without clear color contrast, Amelia struggles to tell the difference between the alarm and other elements on her phone screen. Small, thin fonts only make it harder.
Oof, did I stop the alarm or set it for tomorrow? Ugh, this is the worst way to start the day.
Poorly designed interfaces can lead to unintended consequences and added frustration.
Excuse me, is this table free? Hello? Is anyone there?
Amelia hoped the coffee shop's website would have a simple floor plan, or at least some basic directions on how to find a seat. Without those details, navigating this space is awkward and potentially embarrassing. Just like digital products, physical spaces need to be designed with accessibility in mind. Clear signage, good lighting, and uncluttered walkways make a huge difference.
Okay, let's get through these emails.
Email from John Smith. Subject, meeting update. Dear Amelia, please note the revised time and agenda.
I wonder which meeting this is referring to. Let me check my calendar.
No upcoming meetings found matching the subject, meeting update.
Ugh, typical. Okay, let's see if there are any clues in the email body.
Amelia excels at her job thanks to screen readers that allow her to access digital information. However, when websites and emails aren't coded properly, even the best assistive technology can struggle. Missing subject lines, unlabeled images, and unclear formatting force Amelia to waste time deciphering basic details.
Okay, time to cross. I just need to wait for the signal.
Navigating busy streets can be incredibly stressful with a visual impairment. Crosswalk signals are crucial, but not all are created equal.
Ugh, where's that sound? Usually it's right here. Is it broken? Whoa, that was close. Okay, let me try a different corner. Ah, there it is.
Audible crosswalk indicators are fantastic examples of inclusive design. They benefit people who are blind or visually impaired, but also parents with small children, distracted pedestrians, or anyone in a noisy environment.
Okay, time to relax with a good book. But first, let's make this readable. Ah, much better. No more squinting at tiny letters.
Simple features like adjustable font sizes are lifesavers for people with visual impairments. They remove barriers and allow everyone to enjoy the same content. Digital products can break down limitations or create them. User experience design, when done thoughtfully, puts the power directly in the hands of users like Amelia, ensuring everyone gets a great experience. Hello again. In this video, we'll focus on a crucial aspect of UX design that often gets overlooked: color, contrast, and readability. Proper color contrast is important to all users, but especially users who have color blindness or low vision. Paying attention to your contrast ratios will make your designs more inclusive and user-friendly. By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe the principle of color contrast and why it's important, evaluate the readability of your own designs as well as other apps and websites out on the market, advocate for this accessibility standard to your team or client. Imagine you've crafted a beautiful website, but your users struggle to read the text because the colors clash or blend together. That's a frustrating experience and one we can easily avoid. This is where color contrast checker tools come to the rescue. They help us ensure that the text on our designs is easily readable for everyone, including those with visual impairments. There are several great tools out there. In a previous lesson, we discussed the A11Y color contrast plugin in Figma, but today we'll be focusing on Adobe Colors Contrast Checker. It's a fantastic resource and it's free. Navigate to color.adobe.com. There are other great resources on this site that can help you select color themes or explore color trends in different industries. But for this lesson, let's click on Create, then Accessibility Tools. Here's the contrast checker. So, how does it work? It's pretty simple. We start by entering our foreground and background colors. The foreground color is your text, and the background is, well, the background behind it. You can enter these as hex codes or RGB values. Once we have our colors, the tool calculates the contrast ratio. This is a numerical value that tells us how much contrast there is between the two colors. Now, here's the important part. The Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, set standards for color contrast to ensure readability for everyone. For most text, we want a contrast ratio of at least 4.5 to 1. For larger texts, the minimum is 3 to 1. Let's try an example. Here's that low contrast text from earlier. We'll use the hex codes for the text and background colors, then plug them into our contrast checker. That contrast ratio is only ratio. That's definitely not going to cut it. It's way too hard to read, especially for someone with low vision. So let's fix it. We could darken the text, lighten the background, or even change one of the colors entirely. We can play around with the colors until we get a passing contrast ratio that we also like. There we go. Now we have a contrast ratio of ratio. That's much better. The text is crisp and easy to read against the background. Remember, using a color contrast checker isn't just about aesthetics, it's about accessibility and inclusivity. By making sure your designs have sufficient contrast, you're ensuring that everyone can enjoy your content. Now it's your turn to experiment. Try out Adobe Color or any other contrast checker you prefer. Make it a part of your design process to test your color choices and ensure your designs are accessible to everyone.
Imagine trying to order food at your favorite restaurant, but the menu is completely unreadable. Maybe it's in a tiny font, or the colors make the text disappear into the background. How frustrating would that be? Now imagine that kind of frustration online. Websites are the menus of the digital world, and if people with disabilities can't access them properly, they're shut out of crucial information and services. That's the big reason you need to prioritize website accessibility. Although there are a lot of in-depth WCAG guidelines, today we're focusing on a few core concepts that make a huge difference for accessibility. By the end of this video, you'll be able to explain core WCAG success criteria, focusing on areas like keyboard accessibility, screen reader compatibility, and alternative text for images. Let's start with keyboard accessibility. Not everyone uses a mouse or a trackpad. Some people navigate the web entirely with a keyboard. Can you imagine tabbing your way through a site that doesn't work this way? The WCAG success criterion related to the keyboard is called Success Criterion 2.1.1 Keyboard, which states that all website functionality needs to be operable through a keyboard interface. What does this mean practically? It means avoiding anything that traps a keyboard user. A common mistake is creating elements that respond only to a mouse click or hover, with no keyboard alternative. For example, if your navigation menu reveals options only when hovering over it with a mouse, a keyboard user might never even know those choices exist. Here's a tip. Test your website. Unplug your mouse and try everything using only the Tab, Arrow, and Enter/Return keys. Next up is screen reader compatibility. Screen readers are assistive software for people who are blind or visually impaired. They read website content aloud. This brings us to another important WCAG success criterion. Success Criterion 1.3.1, Info and Relationships. This criterion states that information, structure, and relationships presented through visual cues need to be readable by screen readers. Think about a simple form designed to collect contact information. While sighted users can easily see the labels like name or email, a screen reader needs this information coded correctly. Using clear headings, form labels, and other structural elements is vital. To check your website's screen reader compatibility, try a free screen reader extension like Chrome Vox. This extension lets you experience how your website feels to someone who relies on this technology. Images are great for adding visual interest to your website. But what if someone can't see those images? Alternative text, or alt text for short, comes to the rescue. WCAG Success Criterion 1.1.1 Non-Text Content states that all non-text content needs a text alternative that provides the same purpose. Alt text is a brief description added directly within the code of your website. Screen readers can read this description, translating the image into a user's understanding. But what makes for good alt text? Imagine a product image of a stylish pair of running shoes. An example of bad alt text for this image would be shoes.jpg. This tells you nothing helpful. An example of okay alt text is red running shoes. This is slightly better, but still misses details. Good alt text reads, red Nike Air Zoom running shoes with white swoosh logo. This is descriptive and useful. When writing alt text, focus on what's important for someone to understand the purpose of the image. Remember, accessibility isn't a box to check off. It's about building the web to be welcoming and inclusive for everyone. Here are a few more success criteria to keep in mind as your UX design skills grow. First, check the color contrast on your website. Sites need sufficient contrast between text and background colors for readability. This benefits people with low vision and color perception differences. Second, consider focus indicators. When a keyboard user tabs through your website, they need a clear visual indicator of where their focus is on the page. This prevents confusion and improves navigation. Finally, use meaningful link text. Links saying click here or read more aren't helpful for screen reader users. Link text needs to accurately describe where the link leads or what action it performs. Make accessibility part of your design process. The exciting thing is that accessibility benefits everyone. Clear structure, easy navigation, and well-described images improve a website for all users, not just those with disabilities. The best way to get comfortable with WCAG is to integrate these principles into your design process right from the start. Consider adopting these habits. Start with empathy. When you begin designing a new feature, take a moment to imagine different types of users and how they might experience it. Use accessibility checkers. Many tools exist to analyze your website and flag potential accessibility issues. Use these early and often. Involve users with disabilities. Testing your designs with real users provides the most valuable insights into how well your accessibility measures are working. Accessibility is a journey, not just a destination. As you learn more about WCAG, you'll discover new ways to design amazing user experiences that truly work for everyone. Welcome, aspiring UX designers, to this exploration of the practical side of WCAG. We aren't diving into the WCAG specific guidelines today. Instead, this video explores real-world application by answering questions such as these. How do you actually weave accessibility into your design process? How do you answer the WCAG questions that pop up along the way? Let's get those answers. By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe the practical application of WCAG guidelines in the design process, weaving in frequently asked questions and insights from real-world experiences. At first glance, WCAG can feel like a long list of do's and don'ts. But here's a shift in perspective. WCAG is your toolkit for crafting experiences that truly welcome everyone. It's about building digital spaces where everyone feels included, regardless of how they interact with technology. The heart of WCAG is designing with empathy. Before you even open your design software, pause and put yourself in the shoes of your users. Think about people who use screen readers, have low vision, or face other challenges. How might they experience your design? This empathy is the foundation of the UX design process. Let's look at the most common questions UX designers have about WCAG. Probably the most common question is, do I really need to follow every single guideline? Although the ideal is full compliance, even small steps make a huge difference. Start with the essentials like clear navigation, alternative text for images, and sufficient color contrast. Another common question is, how do I balance aesthetics with accessibility? The good news is, they're not mutually exclusive. You can absolutely have a visually stunning design that's also accessible. It's all about thoughtful choices and smart use of tools. Here's another question. Can I just rely on automated accessibility checkers? Automated tools are a great starting point, but they can't catch everything. Think of them as your first line of defense, not a replacement for manual testing and good design choices. Another question is, how early in the design process should I start thinking about accessibility? The answer is the earlier, the better. Accessibility should be part of your project from the very beginning, not treated as an afterthought. Consider it during wireframing, prototyping, and throughout development. What about this question? My client or boss doesn't prioritize accessibility. What can I do? This is a common challenge. Focus on educating them about the benefits of accessibility, not just for users, but for business as well. Share statistics about the large potential audience that's excluded by inaccessible designs. Highlight the positive impact accessibility can have on brand reputation and search engine optimization, or SEO. And finally, this question. Where can I find resources to help me implement WCAG? There are tons of great resources out there. The Web Accessibility Initiative, WAI, website is a treasure trove of information, including tutorials, examples, and even a handy quick reference guide. You can also find helpful tools and plugins online to assist with things like color contrast checking and keyboard navigation testing. Now let's look at some real-world examples of WCAG in action. A UX designer once worked on a website redesign where the client insisted on light gray text on a white background. It looked chic, but it was a nightmare for users with low vision. The UX designer found a compromise by slightly darkening the text, keeping the aesthetic while improving readability. In another project, a UX designer had a complex data visualization. They initially presented it as a static image, but quickly realized it wasn't accessible to screen reader users. The UX designer reimagined it as an interactive chart with clear labels and text descriptions, making it informative for everyone. These examples highlight a key point. WCAG isn't about sacrificing creativity or style. It's about finding innovative solutions that make your design work harder for everyone. Now, let's talk about generative AI. This technology is changing the game, offering exciting possibilities for accessible design. Imagine AI-powered tools that automatically generate alt text for images or create accessible color palettes. Gen AI is still in the early stages, but the potential is huge. Imagine AI tools effortlessly generating alternative text for images that accurately captures their essence and purpose. Or picture AI algorithms crafting harmonious color palettes that meet accessibility standards while still being visually stunning. As you embark on your UX design career, remember that WCAG isn't just a set of rules. It's a mindset, a commitment to building a more inclusive digital world. It might feel a bit overwhelming at first, but it gets easier with practice. Remember, you aren't alone in this journey. There's a whole community of UX designers and accessibility advocates ready to support you. So keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep pushing the boundaries of inclusive design.
Hi there! You've come to the end of this module, and it's time to review. By the end of this video, you'll be able to summarize the module key points and connect them to career development by highlighting what tasks an entry-level UX designer would do related to the module's content. Ready? Let's get into it. Remember, as UX designers, it's your job to make sure everyone can use the websites, apps, and products you create, regardless of their abilities. First, you learn that inclusive design means crafting experiences that work for as many people as possible. Imagine you're throwing a huge party, and you want everyone to have a fantastic time. Inclusive design is like making sure your party has wide doorways for wheelchair users, a ramp for easy access, delicious food options for people with allergies, and clear signage in multiple languages. Basically, you're removing any barriers and making sure everyone feels comfortable, welcome, and able to participate in the fun. Then, you focused on all the different accessibility needs you need to think about. People with visual impairments might need text that's big enough to see, or websites that work with screen readers. Those with hearing challenges might rely on captions for videos, or transcripts for audio content. People with mobility restrictions might struggle with a tiny mouse and need keyboard shortcuts or ways to control things with their voice. It's crucial you're aware of these needs. When you design with them in mind, you're making the digital world a place where everyone can learn, shop, connect, and be entertained. And finally, you got into the nitty-gritty with WCAG, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Think of WCAG like your superhero toolkit for fighting bad design and making the online world accessible. It covers all sorts of things, like making sure your color choices have enough contrast for people with low vision, adding captions and transcripts to your videos, and writing code that screen readers can understand. It might seem a little technical at first, but sticking with it makes you a powerful advocate for everyone who uses the web. Now, all those rules and guidelines might seem a bit overwhelming, but here's the thing. As a UX designer, your main focus is asking your users the right questions, such as, how do you usually navigate the web? Or, can you easily see and understand everything on this page? By starting with questions and making a genuine effort to understand the needs of your users, you'll be well on your way to create experiences that work better for everyone. inclusive design isn't just about following rules. It's about showing empathy and creating a digital world where everyone feels included. You'll be a rockstar UX designer if you can keep that kind of mindset. So get out there, keep practicing inclusivity, and let's make the digital world a better place for everyone.
Hey there! You're starting a new module, and in it, you'll learn about the ethical considerations to be mindful of when using AI, and also how AI impacts the UX design workflow. Are you ready? Let's go. When you work with AI, it's important to remember that it isn't magic. Like any powerful tool, it needs to be used responsibly. That means being mindful of ethical considerations. For example, those massive amounts of user data, that's sensitive information. As a UX designer, it's your duty to make sure this data is collected transparently, protected securely, and used only to improve the user experience, never to exploit anyone. It's not always going to be smooth sailing with AI. There's a potential pitfall called bias. Imagine if your AI learned only from data representing a small group of users. It might create designs that work great for them, but completely miss the mark for others. This isn't intentional, but if the data you use to train AI is limited or skewed, it can pick up and amplify those biases. This can lead to designs that exclude or even offend certain groups of users. That's why it's absolutely crucial to use diverse and representative data when training AI. Think of it as feeding your AI a balanced diet of information so it learns to understand and cater to a wide range of human experiences. By doing this, you're not only creating better designs, you're also upholding ethical practices and ensuring everyone feels welcome in the digital world you're building. As AI becomes more integrated into UX design, it also raises big, important questions that go beyond the technical. How do we strike the right balance between leveraging AI's innovative potential and safeguarding user privacy? Can AI truly empathize with users from diverse backgrounds and experiences? Can we trust AI to make fair and unbiased decisions when shaping user experiences? As a UX designer in the age of AI, you have a unique responsibility to grapple with these ethical dilemmas. You're not just designing interfaces, you're shaping the way people interact with technology and the world around them. By championing ethical practices, you can ensure that AI is used as a force for good, creating inclusive, equitable, and respectful experiences for all users. It's about designing with a conscience and understanding that the choices you make today will shape the digital world of tomorrow. AI is changing the game, and in this module, you'll discover the ethical considerations when using AI and all the incredible ways you can use it to streamline your work, make smarter design decisions, and create digital experiences that truly wow users. So, are you ready to step into the future of UX design?
Hello and welcome. In this video, you'll take a journey with me, the AI assistant, into the future, where AI seamlessly assists UX designers throughout the design process. Let's see where this journey takes you.
This navigation flow isn't quite right. It feels clunky, and users seem to get lost. I wonder if my AI assistant can help.
Hello, Maya. Would you like to see some user behavior data? I've been analyzing user sessions and can pinpoint where they're struggling.
Wow, that's so helpful. I wouldn't have noticed that just from looking at the design. This heat map shows me exactly where I need to focus my attention.
Based on this data and established UX principles, I've generated a few alternative navigation flows that might be easier for users to follow.
That's incredible. I love how you've prioritized clarity and intuitiveness. This is going to save me so much time iterating on ideas. Okay, the art museum should be around this corner.
Actually, there's been a change in the museum's hours today. It closes in 30 minutes. Given your current location, I can suggest alternative activities that are nearby and open for longer.
The sculpture garden sounds perfect. And I appreciate you considering accessibility, ensuring everyone can enjoy the experience. Today has been amazing thanks to you. You've helped me solve design problems, navigate the city, and even considered accessibility. I'm really impressed.
I'm constantly learning and evolving to become a better UX partner. As you gather more user feedback on your designs, I can analyze it to identify any usability issues or areas for improvement. We can also run A/B tests to see which design variations perform best with your target audience.
That's amazing. It's like having a 24/7 user research team. This is going to revolutionize the way I work.
And it goes beyond research. In the future, AI can create personalized user experiences. Imagine an interface that adapts to your preferences, suggesting content or features you'll find most valuable.
That sounds like the ultimate goal of UX design. It's all about creating experiences that are not only functional, but also enjoyable and relevant to each individual.
You're onto something for sure. UX design is shaping the way you interact with the world. Just think about the possibilities when you partner with me, I mean AI, to create truly amazing user experiences. It's going to be wild.
When we talk about AI in UX design, it's easy to focus on automation, the idea of AI taking over repetitive or time-consuming tasks. However, AI's true impact on the field goes far deeper. It's fundamentally reshaping our workflows, challenging us to think critically about design ethics, and opening up entirely new creative possibilities. In this video, you'll explore how AI is transforming the UX design landscape, empowering you to work smarter, design more inclusively, and push the boundaries of what's possible. By the end of this video, you'll be able to explain how AI affects workflow and ethical considerations. Let's start by looking at how AI changes the way you work. One of the most significant shifts is how you approach early-stage design. Traditionally, early-stage design involved manually creating wireframes or mockups in design software. This could be time-consuming, especially if you wanted to explore multiple concepts. AI-powered prototyping tools changed the game entirely. With these tools, you can describe your design ideas in plain language or upload simple sketches, and the AI generates basic wireframes or prototypes within seconds. This frees up valuable time previously spent on the mechanics of creation, allowing you to focus on conceptualization, rapid iteration, and getting feedback from users or stakeholders much earlier in the process. AI also streamlines the user research process. User research forms the bedrock of any great UX design, but it can also be time-intensive. AI steps in as a powerful assistant. Imagine having an AI tool comb through hours of interview recordings or vast amounts of survey responses to pinpoint recurring themes, user frustrations, or unexpected patterns. These insights would take a human researcher significant time and effort to uncover. AI doesn't replace the need for thoughtful analysis, but it streamlines the process of extracting meaningful data. Similarly, you can use AI to analyze website analytics or heat maps more quickly and efficiently, highlighting areas for improvement that directly influence your design choices. It's important to understand that AI's role in streamlining UX workflows isn't about eliminating tasks altogether. It's about empowering you to work smarter and faster by automating some of the more routine or data-heavy aspects of the design process. This leaves you with more time for the truly human aspects of user-centered design: strategic thinking, creative problem-solving, and building true empathy with your users. The widespread adoption of AI in design forces us to confront a new set of ethical challenges. Remember, AI algorithms aren't magic. They are trained on massive data sets of information. These data sets, whether they contain images, text, or other forms of data, inevitably reflect the biases present in the real world. Here are some examples of ethical challenges. First, the results of your prompts might suffer from hidden bias. If the dataset an AI tool relies on lacks diversity and inclusion, the outputs of that tool are likely to reflect those same biases. Imagine an image generation AI trained primarily on photos of white men. It might struggle to accurately generate images of women or people of color. Or a design tool's suggestions might favor layouts catering to users with specific cultural backgrounds, inadvertently excluding others. Another ethical challenge involves the responsibility of designers. It's not enough to say, the AI made me do it. As UX designers, you have an ethical responsibility to be aware of potential biases in the tools you use. You need to ask hard questions like, where does this AI tool's data come from? Is it diverse and representative of your real user base? Could any unconscious biases be amplified through the AI's outputs? Finally, transparency is key. AI shouldn't be a mysterious black box that spits out design decisions. Both for your own accountability and to build trust with users, you need to strive for transparency. Can you explain the reasoning behind an AI-suggested design change? If a user interacts with an AI-driven feature, is there a way to understand how the AI made its decisions? This transparency is vital for ensuring AI remains a tool that serves users equitably. AI isn't here to replace designers. It's here to augment your abilities. Think of AI as a powerful creative collaborator. AI-powered tools can generate design variations, suggest layout options, or even create basic UI elements based on your descriptions. This isn't about relinquishing control. It's about expanding your creative toolkit. One especially exciting area is the intersection of AI and accessibility. AI can help you identify potential accessibility barriers within your designs early on, offering suggestions for improvements or automatically generating alternative text for images. This paves the way for truly inclusive design practices. The role of AI in UX design is constantly evolving. By embracing these technologies proactively, you can harness their power while staying grounded in ethical, user-centered design principles. AI won't replace the need for empathy, strategic thinking, or the human touch. However, it fundamentally alters how you approach problem-solving, empowers you to streamline workflows, and expand the realm of what you can create. Stay curious and keep thinking critically about how to use AI responsibly in the world of UX design.
You've come to the end of this module, and it's time to review. By the end of this video, you'll be able to summarize the module key points and connect them to career development by highlighting what tasks an entry-level UX designer would do related to the module's content. Ready? Let's dig into it. Imagine stepping into a bustling design studio. Designers huddled around a whiteboard, sketching wireframes, debating color palettes, and meticulously crafting user flows. Now, picture that same studio, but with a twist. In the corner, a sleek AI assistant hums quietly, analyzing user data, generating design suggestions, and even predicting user preferences. You learned that this isn't science fiction. This is the future of UX design, and it's happening now. You also learned that AI is powerful, but there are ethical implications you will need to consider. Can you really trust AI to make design decisions that align with your values? It's a valid concern, and one that you will need to be mindful of. You'll need to consider potential biases in AI algorithms and ensure that you maintain human control over the design process. You explored those ethical concerns surrounding AI, such as bias and the potential lack of human control. You learned that while AI can be a powerful tool, it's crucial to use it responsibly and always prioritize the needs and well-being of your users. But let's not forget the incredible potential of AI to enhance your design workflow. Think of AI as your trusty sidekick, offering suggestions, automating tasks, and even predicting user behavior. With AI by your side, you can unlock new levels of efficiency and creativity, and create digital experiences that truly resonate with your users. But here's the exciting part. AI is not just the future of design. It's the present. With AI as your ally, you can uncover deeper user insights, streamline your workflow, and create more personalized experiences than ever before. You can supercharge your design process. You've seen how AI is already transforming the UX landscape. From personalized recommendations in your favorite shopping apps to chatbots that provide instant customer support, AI is becoming an indispensable part of the digital experience. So whether you're a seasoned designer or just starting out, embrace AI as your new design partner. It will help you unharness your creativity and shape the future of UX.
Welcome to the exciting world of collaborative design and communication. In this module, you'll learn about successful teamwork and effective communication in the UX design process. Let's begin. First, you'll enter into the world of collaboration. In UX, you're never working alone. You'll learn how to collaborate seamlessly with a diverse range of professionals, each with their own unique skills and perspectives. Let's meet your team members. You'll work with developers who design and build computer programs and applications with code, using your mockups as their guide. Next up, the product managers. They focus on product strategy, customer needs, and the larger business objectives. They keep the team working together and on track to make sure project goals are met. Now, your content designers. They're the storytellers who bring your product to the world. They figure out how best to communicate information within a website, product, or application. And last but not least, the user researchers who uncover user needs and pain points. You'll work with them to gather valuable insights that inform your design decisions, ensuring you're building products that people truly want and need. Through collaborative exercises, real-world case studies, and practical tips, you'll develop the skills to build strong working relationships, navigate team dynamics, and resolve conflicts constructively. By the end, you'll be a collaborator, ready to lead and participate in cross-functional teams to create exceptional user experiences. Next, you'll get into the art of communication, which is essential for any UX designer. Think of it like having a superpower, the ability to convey your ideas clearly and persuasively no matter who you're talking to. You may present to stakeholders. If and when you do this, you'll have your design mockups and a compelling presentation complete with a narrative that highlights the problem, your solution, and the impact it will have on users. You will also create design documentation. Think of this as your design's instruction manual. You'll learn how to create detailed specifications, user flows, and annotations that clearly communicate your design intent to developers and other team members. And don't forget about communicating with colleagues. Sometimes the most important communication happens in casual conversations. You'll incorporate feedback and iterate on designs, making them the absolute best experience for your users. Through practical exercises and examples from real-world projects, you'll develop your communication toolkit. You'll learn to adapt your language and style to different audiences, whether it's technical jargon for developers or a more user-focused narrative for stakeholders. By the end of this module, you'll be a confident communicator, able to articulate your design vision with clarity and impact. And finally, it's showtime. You'll learn how to curate and present your best work in a compelling portfolio that will make you stand out to potential employers. Think of your portfolio as a highlight reel of your UX design journey, showcasing not only your design skills, but also your ability to collaborate, communicate, and solve real-world problems. You'll discover the essential elements of a strong UX portfolio, from choosing the right project to crafting engaging case studies that tell the story of your design process. We'll get into the importance of showcasing your collaborative skills, highlighting how you worked effectively with others to achieve project goals. Your portfolio is your chance to make a lasting impression. It's a testament to your talent, dedication, and ability to collaborate and communicate effectively. By the end of this module, you'll have a polished portfolio that opens doors to exciting career opportunities in the UX design field. At this stage, you're starting to tie everything you've learned together, and it's exciting, but you're not quite done. Between working with teammates, collaborating, and crafting your portfolio, there's lots to learn in this module. Let's get into it.
Great UX design rarely happens in a vacuum. The most successful products are often the result of strong collaboration between designers, developers, researchers, product managers, and other key stakeholders. In this video, we'll explore the power of teamwork in UX design, discuss the different roles involved in the process, and highlight how each team member's unique expertise contributes to building exceptional user experiences. By the end of this video, you'll be able to explain the importance of teamwork in achieving successful design solutions. Let's start with why collaboration matters. It might be tempting to think of designers as lone geniuses, but the reality is that modern UX design requires a diverse range of skills and perspectives. Here's a closer look at each reason collaboration acts as a superpower in the UX process. Teamwork makes it easier to solve complex problems. The best user experiences address real problems, tangled, messy, human problems. These often can't be fully solved by design alone. Collaborating with team members from different disciplines gives you a 360-degree view of the problem space. A developer might point out a technical limitation that influences solution possibilities, or a researcher might unearth a hidden user need that redirects your design entirely. Teamwork helps catch blind spots. Everyone has biases, even in design. These can be unconscious assumptions about your users, over-reliance on familiar patterns, or simply getting too close to your own work. Feedback from outside your UX bubble helps identify these blind spots before they become baked into your design. A fresh perspective might reveal something you've completely overlooked. Teamwork facilitates building shared understanding. Great UX feels seamless because the entire team is aligned on the why behind the design. Collaboration isn't just about exchanging deliverables, it's about creating a shared mental model of the project's goals, the target audience, and how the design will achieve success. This prevents miscommunications and makes conflict resolution smoother. Finally, teamwork fosters innovation. The magic happens when people with different ways of thinking collide. A developer's knowledge of emerging technologies might inspire a solution you'd never have imagined on your own. A researcher's deep understanding of user psychology can push your design in unexpected directions. Collaboration opens the door to ideas that simply wouldn't be possible working alone. Let's look at some of the most common roles you'll interact with as a UX designer. Developers. These are the magicians who turn your designs into functional code. Collaborating early with developers ensures your ideas are technically feasible and avoids costly rework later. UX researchers. These are the experts on user behavior. They conduct interviews, surveys, usability tests. The data they gather is your foundation for making informed design decisions. Product managers. They define the product roadmap, balancing business needs with user needs. Partnering with them aligns your design work directly with the project's overall objectives. Other stakeholders. Depending on the project, you might collaborate with content strategists, marketers, subject matter experts. Each brings a valuable piece of the puzzle. Now, let's look at how collaboration plays out in practice. First up is early stage brainstorming. Instead of solitary sketching, make ideation a team sport. A developer's knowledge of what's feasible, or surprisingly easy, can expand the range of solutions considered. Researchers can chime in immediately to ground those ideas, ensuring they align with the known needs and constraints of your real users. This prevents wasting time designing things that are either technically impossible or that miss the mark for your audience. Next, conduct usability testing. Researchers shouldn't just be data collectors, they're your partners in problem solving. Having them observe testing sessions alongside you to gain a nuanced understanding of how users interact with the design. Then, debrief together. Their perspective on user behavior coupled with your design expertise leads to more actionable insights than you'd get on your own. Together, you can brainstorm design iterations that directly address the pain points observed. And remember, many tools such as Figma enable you to collaborate in real time. Next follows the handoff to development. The design handoff doesn't have to be a game of telephone where your intent gets lost in translation. Collaborate with developers early on. Share prototypes, explain your reasoning, and be open to their suggestions. This builds trust and ensures they understand not just what to build, but also why certain design decisions were made. This context makes future development iterations smoother and less likely to require major redesigns. And here's an additional example. You might find content collaboration helpful. often overlooked, but if your design is content-heavy, work with content strategists or copywriters from the start. They can help shape the information architecture and ensure the language you use in the interface is clear and user-friendly. Embracing collaboration isn't always easy. Different perspectives can sometimes lead to conflict. But remember, the goal is to create the best possible experience for your users. Here are some tips. Communicate proactively. Don't silo yourself. Keep teammates informed on your progress and challenges. Respect everyone's expertise. You are the UX expert, but value the unique skills and knowledge your collaborators bring to the table. Be open to feedback. See feedback as an opportunity to improve your designs, not a personal attack. By actively collaborating with developers, researchers, product managers, and others, you'll elevate your UX design work and achieve outcomes that are far greater than the sum of their parts.
Welcome. As a UX designer, collaboration is key to creating successful products. Whether you're working with fellow designers, developers, stakeholders, or clients, having the right tools can streamline communication, improve feedback loops, and ultimately lead to better user experiences. By the end of this video, you'll be able to effectively collaborate with teammates and stakeholders with Figma files, set up digital workspaces for collaboration workshops or research synthesis. As we've been using Figma, you might be starting to see why it's such a favorite tool for UX designers. Basic collaboration features are available in the free Figma plan. We briefly mentioned Figma's collaboration capabilities in a previous lesson, but let's dig in to see how this works. As a file owner, Figma allows you to share your files with collaborators and control their access level. You can grant them edit or view permissions. Edit means they can jump in and make any and all changes to the file, and view means they can view the file and prototypes but can't make any changes to the file. Imagine you're working on this wireframe with a teammate who has edit access. In Figma, you can both be in the same file simultaneously. See that? I just left a comment right on this button. My teammate will get a notification and can respond, keeping all our discussions in context. We can even have a live chat within Figma to discuss ideas or clarify feedback. This is great for client presentations or design reviews. Stakeholders can see the latest version of the design and leave comments without needing a Figma account. Another useful aspect of Figma is the version history. If I ever make a mistake or want to revert to an earlier design, it's easy to do. To open version history, navigate to File, then click Show Version History. This will open the version history panel on the right-hand side of your canvas. Select any of the previously saved versions to revert your file to any early version. Select the close icon to return to your latest version of the file. This gives a safety net if something goes wrong. Additionally, Figma has multiple tools for prototyping. The Prototype tab allows you to create interactive flows between frames. You can create basic interactions, such as click and hover, to simulate how a final product would behave. The Present mode allows you to showcase the interactive prototype to clients and stakeholders in a full-screen view. You can also create a shareable link specifically for the prototype, which allows clients to experience the design even without a Figma account. Figma also offers a great brainstorming tool called FigJam. You can easily set up a board by navigating Home, then selecting Create New, and selecting the FigJam board option. You will see a blank whiteboard space where you can easily drag and drop sticky notes, shapes, arrows, text, or even tables, making it an easy-to-use space for workshops, brainstorming, or even research synthesis. You can add fun stamps and stickers to your FigJam board to liven it up and make it even more interactive. Some additional collaboration features in Figma are component libraries, which allow you to create and share reusable design elements to maintain consistency across a project. Branching and merging, that allows teams to work on different versions of a design simultaneously and then merge the changes. Team libraries that allow teams to share and sync design assets across projects. Another powerful tool similar to FigJam is Miro. It's like a giant digital whiteboard where we can brainstorm, map out user flows, create mood boards, and much more. Miro is fantastic for collaborative workshops. You can invite team members or clients to join the board in real time and collaborate. Sign up is free. To create an account, navigate to Miro.com, click Sign Up for Free, enter your email, display name, then create a password, then start collaborating. Miro offers live collaboration features, such as Screen Share, which allows you to share your Miro board during a live meeting to guide discussions and gather feedback in real time. Voting and reactions that allow you to prioritize ideas and gauge team consensus. Miro has many template options depending on the type of workshop you're planning. Miro is also a great option of affinity mapping after conducting research. Take some time and explore all that Miro has to offer. Figma, FigJam, and Miro are just a few examples of the many collaboration tools out there. Other popular options include Adobe XD, Mural, and even Google Docs for sharing documents and gathering feedback. The key is to find tools that work best for your team and your workflow. Don't be afraid to experiment and see what works best for you. Remember, the goal of collaboration tools is to make your work easier, not harder.
Welcome to Design Storytelling, captivating your audience video. You'll learn about the power of storytelling in design presentations, including the importance of clear explanations, keeping audience focus, and the use of visuals to engage the audience. Imagine you're designing a new language learning app. How would you explain it?
It's an app that helps you learn new languages quickly and easily.
That's a start, but we need to be more specific. Who are we talking to? What are their pain points? Clear explanations start with a deep understanding of our users. We can't just assume what they want or need. We have to dig deeper, get into their heads. This means doing our research, talking to real users, and gathering data. We need to understand their pain points, their motivations, their frustrations. What keeps them up at night? What makes them smile?
So it's about empathy, right? Putting ourselves in their shoes to understand their world.
Exactly. Only then can we create designs that truly speak to them. We need to address their specific needs and desires, not just our assumptions.
Got it. So let me try again. Our app is designed for busy professionals who want to learn a new language on their own time without the hassle of traditional classes.
Now you're talking. That's clear and user-focused. But we don't just tell you about it, we show you. We use visuals to create an emotional connection. A picture is worth 1,000 words, right? They can convey complex ideas and key messages in an instant, evoke feelings, and even set the tone for the narrative you are creating. The visuals make it so much easier to understand how the app works. They bring it to life, showing its potential impact in a way that words alone can't. Plus, they make it more real for your audience. They can see themselves using it, experiencing its benefits firsthand.
I think I get it. I'm starting to see how powerful storytelling can be.
It's extremely powerful. Just think about hotel resort travel campaigns. They don't just sell rooms, they sell the experience of belonging. And they do that by using compelling visuals and relatable stories that can turn a product into a lifestyle, a movement.
Well, I'm ready to tell stories that captivate, inform, and inspire. Let's go.
Let's face it, sometimes the feedback you receive on your design work can be, well, less than helpful. Stakeholders might disagree, provide vague comments, or change their minds entirely. Although frustrating, these ambiguous situations are actually valuable opportunities to flex your problem-solving muscles and push your designs to the next level. In this video, we'll explore how to handle conflicting or ambiguous feedback, turning it into a catalyst for creativity and stronger design solutions. By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe how to use conflicting or ambiguous feedback as an opportunity for creativity and problem solving. Understanding the different ways feedback can be unclear is crucial for developing strategies to address it. Let's look at some common scenarios. First up is conflicting feedback. Perhaps one stakeholder praises your use of vibrant colors, commenting on the design's energy, while another expresses concern that the palette feels too overwhelming or clashes with the brand's established style. This direct contradiction highlights the need for clear communication and a deep understanding of who the ultimate decision maker is. You'll need to facilitate a conversation to uncover the stakeholders' priorities and find a solution that balances both perspectives. A second example of unclear feedback is make it pop. This classic piece of vague feedback leaves you wondering, pop in what way? Is it about color, contrast, typography, or something else entirely? This is where your ability to ask thoughtful questions becomes invaluable. Don't be afraid to probe for specifics. For example, you might say, "That's a great idea. Could you give me some examples of designs that you feel really pop and what you like about them?" This helps translate a subjective term into more actionable guidance. You might encounter moving targets, where you think you're on track, then suddenly the project goals shift, or a stakeholder backtracks on a previous decision. These frustrating situations emphasize the importance of documenting agreements and getting sign-offs. Written is best at key milestones. Although you can't always prevent stakeholders from changing their minds, having a clear paper trail makes it easier to revisit past decisions and adjust your design strategy accordingly. It's important to remember that ambiguous feedback, although annoying, rarely stems from malice. People often struggle to state their visual preferences, or they might unknowingly contradict each other. Your role as the designer is to be the translator, helping turn those vague feelings into a clear path forward. Ambiguous feedback isn't a dead end. It's an invitation for a deeper conversation. This mindset shift is crucial. Instead of getting defensive or shutting down, see these situations as a chance to gain valuable insights. Remember, feedback, even when poorly expressed, often contains a kernel of truth about how your design is being perceived. Your job is to uncover that kernel. Here are some questions to guide you on responding to ambiguous feedback. Start by clarifying specifics. For example, when you say modern, could you give me some examples of what you have in mind? This type of question combats vague adjectives that are open to wide interpretations. By asking for examples, websites, other designs, even objects in the real world, you force the stakeholder to define their terms in a way you can use. Next, try to uncover the stakeholder's underlying concerns. For example, you might say, "It sounds like you're concerned about readability. Could we explore ways to maintain visual impact while still prioritizing clarity?" This approach demonstrates active listening and empathy. You rephrase their feedback as a concern, showing you want to understand the root of the issue. It also hints at solutions, opening up a collaborative dialogue. If you receive conflicting feedback, ask stakeholders to help you prioritize. For example, say, "I have feedback suggesting both brighter colors and a simpler palette. Could you help me prioritize which direction is more important for the project goals?" When faced with conflicting feedback, this question cuts to the chase. It acknowledges the contradiction and positions you as a problem solver seeking clarity. By tying the decision back to the project's overall goals, you're more likely to get guidance that everyone can agree on. Remember, when you approach stakeholders about ambiguous or conflicting feedback, your tone matters. Ask questions with genuine curiosity, not sarcasm or frustration. You should also provide context. Sometimes reframing your design can help. Explain your reasoning behind a choice. For example, "I used this bold color to draw attention to the sign up button. Do you think it's achieving that goal, or could a different approach be more effective?" Finally, remember to embrace a problem-solving mindset when responding to stakeholder feedback. Instead of seeing conflicting feedback as a roadblock, reframe it as a design puzzle. Can you find a solution that addresses the valid points within the feedback, even if those points seem contradictory? Try to seek common ground. Is there an underlying theme within the feedback? Perhaps everyone agrees the design feels too serious, even if their solutions differ. Focus on this shared need. Or do you need to make a creative compromise? And offer stakeholders options. Present multiple solutions that address the feedback in distinct ways. This empowers stakeholders and showcases your ability to problem solve. Conflicting or ambiguous feedback is an inevitable part of the design process. By staying calm, asking clarifying questions, and seeing it as an opportunity for creative problem solving, you can transform confusing situations into design wins. Remember, great design often emerges from constraints and the ability to find innovative solutions that satisfy diverse needs. Strong communication with stakeholders and clients is the bedrock of any successful design project. But how do you ensure your presentations are compelling, your messaging stays on point, and you handle feedback effectively? In this video, we'll discuss strategies for navigating stakeholder conversations, crafting clear key messages, and confidently managing feedback at different project milestones. By the end of this video, you'll be able to discuss how to present to stakeholders and clients at certain milestones and navigate responses. Let's start with key messages, which are the heart of your presentation. Think of your key messages as the navigational compass for your entire stakeholder presentation. They keep you on track and ensure your audience leaves with a clear understanding of the most important points. Here are the characteristics of a good key message. First, be clear and concise. Avoid jargon and get to the point quickly. Stakeholders often have limited time and many projects and tasks to complete. Cut through the noise with direct, easily understandable language. For example, instead of saying your design is user-centric, try, "This interface simplifies the sign-up process to reduce confusion." Next, make your key message relevant. Tie your messaging directly to stakeholder goals and the project's value. Don't just talk about your design in isolation, connect it to what matters to the stakeholders. Are they focused on increasing conversion rates? Highlight how your design achieves that. Do they care about brand consistency? Demonstrate how your choices reinforce their visual identity. Finally, make sure your key messages are outcome-oriented. What do you want stakeholders to do as a result of your presentation? Approve a design, provide a decision, and so on. Every presentation should have a purpose. Are you seeking approval on a direction, needing a decision between two options, getting sign-off on a budget? Shape your key messages to lead your audience toward that desired action. For crafting your key messages, here's a quick exercise. Before your next stakeholder meeting, try to summarize your presentation's goals into 2 to 3 sentences. Do these sentences meet the criteria above? If not, refine them until they do. You have your key messages. Now it's time to bring them to life. Here's how to captivate your audience and drive your points home. Start by telling a story. Don't jump straight into design details. Set the stage. Is there a key user pain point your design solves? Did you discover surprising insights during research? A brief, relatable story hooks your stakeholders and gives context to the design decisions that follow. Connect your key messages to the needs and objectives. Each design choice should be grounded in reason. You didn't just pick colors randomly. Explain how the palette supports the desired brand perception. For example, modern versus trustworthy. Explicitly link your work back to the user research findings or the project goals stakeholders outlined. Try to anticipate questions. Think like your stakeholders. If they're budget-minded, be ready to explain how your design might save costs in the long run. If they're unfamiliar with UX principles, have some straightforward explanations ready for why certain choices are important for usability. Forethought here builds your credibility. Remember, visuals matter. Your slides or prototypes are your supporting cast. A confusing mock-up will derail even the strongest key messaging. Prioritize clean, well-annotated visuals that clearly highlight the elements you're discussing. If certain details are too complex for the presentation itself, have supplementary materials ready. Stay on message. You might get sidetracked by questions or a stakeholder going off on a tangent. That's okay. Be agile, but always find a way to weave their concern back to one of your key messages. This demonstrates you're truly listening while also maintaining control of the presentation's narrative. And here's an extra tip. If possible, learn something about your stakeholder audience beforehand. Are they big picture thinkers or details oriented? Tailor your presentation style subtly to fit their preferences. Feedback is inevitable. Here's how to manage it gracefully. Use active listening. Truly listen to understand stakeholder concerns, not just to form a rebuttal. Don't take feedback personally. Separate feedback on your work from criticism of you as a designer. Seek clarity. If feedback is vague, ask clarifying questions like, could you give me an example? Find common ground. Is there a part of the feedback you agree with? Start there and build a collaborative solution. Keep in mind that the type of feedback you'll receive changes throughout the project. Here's what to expect. In the early stages, focus on big picture alignment. Are you solving the right problem? Does your approach resonate with stakeholders? In the middle of the project, feedback gets more detailed. Expect questions on execution, usability, and alignment with brand guidelines. In the final stages, stakeholders are looking for refinement and polish. Be prepared to discuss those finer details of your design. Effective stakeholder communication is an ongoing process. By crafting clear key messages, presenting with confidence, and handling feedback strategically, you'll build strong relationships and ensure your project stays on track.
Let's face it, getting feedback on your designs can be nerve-wracking. But feedback, even the kind that initially stings, is one of the most powerful tools for improving your work. In this video, we'll discuss the importance of feedback in UX design, different types of feedback, and how to effectively incorporate it to create better user experiences. By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe different types of feedback, positive, negative, constructive, and how to effectively incorporate it to improve design solutions. Let's start with why feedback matters. Design work doesn't happen in a vacuum. Ultimately, it's about solving problems for real users. Feedback helps you uncover blind spots. Even the most experienced designers can develop tunnel vision when they've been deeply immersed in a project. You might miss obvious usability flaws, misinterpret your own design choices over time, or become overly attached to solutions that aren't actually working. Feedback from others, whether they're fellow designers, potential users, or stakeholders, acts as a reality check, helping you to see your work from a new angle. Feedback can validate assumptions. UX design is rooted in understanding users, but it's dangerously easy to make assumptions about their needs, behaviors, and pain points. Feedback is your way of pressure testing those assumptions and making course corrections if necessary. Use feedback to help you find better solutions. Sometimes feedback doesn't just expose problems, it opens the door to amazing alternatives you hadn't considered. A stakeholder might suggest a feature inspired by a different product they love. By listening carefully, feedback can unlock innovation. Remember, good feedback isn't just about finding flaws. It's about making your design the best possible version of itself to truly serve the needs of your users. Not all feedback is created equal. Understanding the kind of feedback you're getting is key to using it effectively. First, there's positive feedback. It's easy to dismiss praise as fluffy, but don't. Dig into the specifics. Why does someone like a particular aspect? Is it about the visual style, the ease of use, the way it solves their problem? Deconstructing what works well reinforces successful patterns and gives you insights into what users truly value. Then there's negative feedback. This is the tough one. The key is to look past the initial emotional sting and see if there's actionable information. Is the issue with the core execution of your design? Or is it more subjective? The former is something to solve directly, while the latter might indicate a mismatch between their expectations and the project goals. Finally, there's constructive criticism. Treasure this. When someone pinpoints an issue and offers potential solutions, that's incredibly valuable. This doesn't mean you have to blindly accept their idea, but it creates a jumping-off point for further exploration. Maybe their solution isn't the perfect fit, but it sparks a related idea in your mind that's even better. Now let's talk about how to receive feedback gracefully. Here's how to turn a potentially stressful situation into an opportunity for growth. Use active listening. This goes beyond basic politeness. Put your defensiveness on hold and truly try to inhabit the other person's perspective. What are their pain points? Notice their nonverbal cues as well. A furrowed brow or hesitation in their voice might signal there's more to the feedback than their initial words convey. Seek clarity. Ambiguous feedback is frustrating for everyone. Dig deeper with questions like, "Could you show me exactly which part you mean?" Don't take feedback personally. Remind yourself that design is iterative by nature. Critique of your work isn't a judgment of your inherent talent or worth as a designer. Try to compartmentalize and see the feedback as a data point. Does it align with your user research, or is it an outlier opinion? Express gratitude for the feedback. Even if the delivery of the feedback is less than ideal, start and end with thanks. Acknowledge that the person took time to share their thoughts. Showing appreciation signals that you're open to the conversation and value their input, which makes them more likely to provide constructive feedback in the future. Now, how do you turn feedback into action? Start by looking for patterns. Did multiple people say similar things? That's a strong signal to pay attention. Don't react hastily. Give yourself time to let feedback sink in. Your knee-jerk reaction might not be the best solution. Iterate and test. Use feedback to guide design revisions, then get more feedback. Design is an ongoing process of refinement. Remember, you're the expert. You are still the designer. Weigh feedback against project goals and your UX knowledge. You don't have to implement every suggestion. Seeking out feedback takes courage, but it's a sign of a designer committed to growth. Think of feedback as a tool that helps you bridge the gap between how you think your design is working and how users actually experience it. By embracing feedback as a positive force and learning to parse all of its flavors, you'll design stronger, more intuitive, and truly user-centered solutions. In the world of UX design, feedback is our fuel. But giving and receiving feedback effectively is an art form in itself. Today, we'll explore a real-world UX design case study that demonstrates the transformative power of feedback, and we'll uncover strategies for turning feedback loops into a tool that drives outstanding design solutions. By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe a real-world UX design case study where effective use of feedback led to a successful design outcome, discussing how feedback was incorporated. Let's look at a case study on revamping the interface of an enterprise software application. Picture this: a clunky, outdated enterprise software tool. Think endless menus, confusing terminology, and frustrated users fumbling for the help button. A UX team was tasked with a complete overhaul to modernize the interface, boost adoption, and reduce costly support calls. This enterprise software had decades of features and workarounds piled onto a core that was never designed for elegance. Disentangling necessary functionality from the unnecessary and complicated code can be daunting. Further, internal teams have become blind to terms that are meaningless to outsiders. There was a shocking amount of jargon that the UX team then had to eliminate or translate into plain language. This enterprise software served users with wildly different skill levels. Feedback had to be balanced between making things simpler for beginners without sacrificing the advanced features that power users relied upon. Finally, the UX team encountered resistance to change. Even badly designed software has its defenders, especially if people have spent years learning it. The team likely encountered feedback rooted in habit. It's always been this way, rather than genuine usability concerns. The first step in this case was to gather early feedback to expose hidden pain points. The UX team started with user interviews. The team didn't assume they knew best. Interviews with actual users, from novices to power users, revealed surprising insights. Tasks that seemed obvious to the team were major roadblocks for users. Jargon that made perfect internal sense was utterly baffling to those outside the company. The team used prototype testing next. Even rough, low-fidelity prototypes put into users' hands triggered a cascade of valuable feedback. Instead of abstract discussions about features, problems were immediately tangible. Navigation that the team thought was intuitive proved anything but. The team moved on to iterating with feedback. The team started with design sprints. They didn't just gather feedback and then forget about it. The team used short design sprints followed by rapid testing cycles. This meant feedback was incorporated quickly, preventing them from going too far down an ineffective path. They also prioritized feedback. They learned to balance feedback from different stakeholders. Power users had deep feature desires, while new users needed smoother onboarding. Feedback was weighed against core project goals to find the right solutions. Let's look at the case's results. The UX team didn't just aim for a prettier interface for the enterprise software. The true success metrics included a reduction in tech support calls. A clearer interface meant fewer desperate users needing help. This translated to significant cost savings for the client. A second success metric showed a boost in user satisfaction. Feedback surveys didn't just measure satisfaction going up. They pinpointed the specific changes that made the biggest difference. This validated the team's design decisions. A third success metric examined opportunities for innovation. After core usability issues were solved, user feedback sparked ideas the team hadn't initially considered. These innovative features helped the product stand out in the market. This case study shows you that feedback is far more important than avoiding design flaws. Here are the important takeaways. Humility is key. The best feedback comes when you admit you don't have all the answers up front. Be willing to have your assumptions challenged. Remember, feedback is a partnership. Don't treat users or stakeholders as adversaries. Instead, cultivate a shared understanding of the goal. This makes feedback more constructive. Finally, be specific. Whether giving or receiving feedback, avoid vague statements. Point to concrete examples and suggest alternative solutions. This strategy drives improvement. Keep these tips in mind when you're giving feedback. Start by focusing on impact. Instead of, "I don't like this color," explain why a choice is confusing or impacts the user's ability to complete a task. Then offer alternatives. When possible, pair criticism with a suggestion, even a tentative one. This kickstarts problem solving. Be sure to use these tips when you're receiving feedback. Separate ego from design. This is hard, but vital. Focus on the goal of improving the design, not defending your past choices. Seek the why. If feedback is unclear, dig deeper. Understanding the root of the issue empowers you to find the right fix. Embracing feedback isn't about admitting weakness. It's about a relentless commitment to creating the best possible user experiences. By cultivating a culture of open communication, respecting diverse perspectives, and actively using feedback to iterate, you'll unlock your design superpowers.
No matter how talented a designer you are, setbacks are inevitable. A prototype flops during testing. A seemingly perfect design gets rejected by stakeholders. Features you labored over turn out to be confusing to users. In these moments, it's easy to feel discouraged or doubt your own skills. But what if we could reframe setbacks? What if, instead of stumbling blocks, we saw them as stepping stones on the path to design excellence? In this video, we'll explore how to embrace setbacks, extract valuable lessons from them, and ultimately use those lessons to fuel better design work. By the end of this video, you'll be able to explain how to reframe setbacks as stepping stones to expertise. Let's start by talking about why setbacks are essential. Design isn't a linear path from a good idea to perfect execution. Here's a deeper look at how setbacks help improve your design work. First, Setbacks expose blind spots. Even the most meticulous designers can fall prey to unconscious biases or get too focused on their own perspective. When a design fails to resonate with users or falls short during testing, these blind spots become glaringly obvious. This forces you to step outside your own thoughts and truly confront the needs and challenges of your real users. Setbacks force course correction. It's tempting to cling to a situation you've invested time and energy into, even if your gut tells you something's off. Setbacks provide that undeniable signal it's time for a pivot. Instead of pouring resources into polishing a flawed solution, you get the chance to realign your approach. In the long run, this saves you from launching a product or feature that would ultimately disappoint users. Setbacks also spark innovation. Challenging constraints often lead to the most creative solutions. When confronted with a roadblock, you're forced to ditch familiar solutions and explore uncharted territory. A design constraint that initially seemed like a limitation might trigger a breakthrough moment. The best solutions are sometimes born from moments when the obvious path turns out to be a dead end. The bottom line, setbacks aren't just about fixing an immediate problem. They help you become a more adaptable and resourceful designer in the long run. How about turning what feels like failure into fuel? Mindset is everything. Here's how to stop dreading setbacks and start mining them for insights. Start by depersonalizing feedback. This is easier said than done, but it's vital. Remember, design is an iterative process. A critique of your work isn't an attack on you personally. Try framing the setback as a problem to be solved about the design, not a referendum on your inherent design talent. This frees you up to focus on finding the best solution. Get specific about the feedback. Instead of wallowing in self-doubt, force yourself to confront the specifics. Is the issue with the core concept of your solution? Is the functionality clunky? Is the aesthetic off target? The more granular your analysis, the clearer the path forward becomes. Embrace the why. Don't stop at identifying the surface level problem. Push yourself to uncover the root cause. Why didn't users understand that feature? Is it truly unintuitive, or was there inadequate onboarding that confused them? Why did stakeholders dislike a color scheme? Is it misaligned with the brand, or does it clash with accessibility guidelines? Digging into the why is how you prevent yourself from repeating the same mistakes. Seek out diverse feedback. Did the feedback come from one user, or is it a pattern across multiple testers? Is the stakeholder with negative feedback someone whose design opinion you trust? Contextualizing feedback helps you gauge its true urgency. Finally, give yourself time, but not too much. It's okay to feel a bit of disappointment initially. Let yourself process the emotions, but then set a deadline to shift into problem-solving mode. Don't dwell on the setback endlessly. Let's look at some examples of how setbacks can lead to design breakthroughs. First up, the misunderstood metaphor. Perhaps your design hinges on an elegant metaphor, but user testing reveals it totally misses the mark for your audience. This forces you to re-examine what your users truly need and might lead to a simpler, more direct solution. Here's another setback: conflicting stakeholder feedback. One stakeholder loves your bold color scheme, another hates it. The setback becomes an opportunity to clarify the brand's personality and design constraints, leading to a palette that satisfies everyone. Another type of setback is the feature that flopped. You poured time into a feature you were excited about, only for it to fall flat with users. Instead of scrapping it entirely, analyze why it failed. Maybe the core idea is sound, but the implementation needs refinement. The most successful designers aren't the ones who never stumble, but the ones who get back up, iterate, and learn from the experience. Keep these tips in mind. Document your process. Keeping notes on your decisions will make it easier to retrace your steps when things go wrong, pinpointing where things went off track. Don't be afraid of bad ideas. Embrace experimentation. Sometimes the truly innovative solutions come from taking a risk, even if it sometimes leads to valuable failures. Build a culture of feedback. When setbacks are seen as a source of learning, not shame, your team becomes more resilient and willing to push boundaries. By changing your relationship with setbacks, you'll turn them from sources of frustration into powerful catalysts for improvement. Embrace the detours, analyze them with curiosity, and let them pave the way to your best design work yet. Most of us have a complicated relationship with feedback. Our brains are wired to perceive critique as a threat, making it all too easy to get defensive, dismiss input, or feel discouraged. Yet, the truth is this: feedback, even when it stings, is essential fuel for growth. In this video, we'll explore how to move beyond defensiveness and truly harness feedback to elevate your UX design work and propel your own development as a designer. By the end of this video, you'll be able to discuss how feedback is a roadmap for growth and a catalyst for personal and professional development. Remember, feedback is more than criticism. Let's challenge the idea that feedback is just an evaluation of a design. Think of feedback as a multifaceted tool. First, feedback is a reality check. Feedback forces you to confront how your design is actually being perceived. Next, you can use feedback as a signpost. Negative feedback can feel like a dead end, but it's actually the beginning. Finally, feedback is also an innovation engine. Constraints drive creativity. Remember, feedback isn't about judging you, it's about unlocking the true potential of your design. Now, let's turn feedback from a vague sense of make it better into actionable steps that make up a growth plan for both you and your career. Let's look at some techniques you can use to deepen your understanding of the feedback you receive. One technique you can use is 5 whys, which lets you go deeper than the surface problem. This technique requires you to keep asking why until you get to the root cause for the feedback. Here's an example. A user tells you that they don't like the color scheme of your website. When you ask why, the user responds with, "It's hard to read the text," and that's your first why. You ask your second why, and the user responds with, "The contrast between the text and background colors is too low." At this point, the user is unlikely to have additional feedback on this matter, but you still have not reached the root cause. Your third why would be addressed to your team members. You get the response, "The chosen colors don't meet accessibility guidelines for contrast ratios." You're getting closer to the root cause. You ask why again for the 4th time, and discover that the design process didn't include a step to check for accessibility compliance. And when you ask why for the 5th time, you hear the designer wasn't aware of the accessibility guidelines. By asking why 5 times, you move beyond the initial surface level complaint of, "I don't like the color scheme," to uncover a deeper root cause, a lack of accessibility considerations in the design process. This insight allows you to take targeted action. The immediate fix is to adjust the color scheme to meet accessibility standards, ensuring sufficient contrast for readability. The long-term improvements are to train designers on accessibility guidelines and incorporate checks for accessibility compliance into your design workflow to prevent similar issues in the future. You may not need to ask why the full 5 times if it no longer obtains useful responses. In some cases, you may need to ask more than 5 times. The point of the exercise is to reveal the root cause for the feedback. You can see that using the 5 whys technique to look deeper into feedback gives you the opportunity to grow your skills. Another technique you can use to analyze feedback with an eye to growing your skills is thematic analysis. Think of thematic analysis as a way to decode the hidden messages within your feedback data. It's a bit like detective work, where you sift through clues, feedback comments, to uncover underlying patterns and themes that reveal the bigger picture of user experience. Thematic analysis is a qualitative research method, meaning it focuses on understanding the meaning and context behind the data, rather than just quantifying it. It's particularly useful for analyzing open-ended feedback, where users express their thoughts and feelings in their own words. The thematic analysis technique consists of 5 steps. The first step is familiarization, which is where you immerse yourself in the data, reading and rereading feedback comments, transcripts, or survey responses. This helps you get a feel for the overall tone and content of the feedback. In step 2, coding, you assign codes or labels to specific pieces of feedback that share a common theme or idea. These codes can be simple keywords or phrases, or they can be more descriptive summaries. Next, in step 3, you identify themes by grouping related codes together to form overarching themes. These themes represent broader patterns or trends in the feedback data. Step 4 is to review the themes you've identified. Examine each theme and its supporting codes to ensure they accurately reflect the data. You may need to revise or combine themes as you gain a deeper understanding of the feedback. In Step 5, you define and name themes. Give each theme a clear and descriptive name that captures its essence. This helps you communicate your findings to others and use them to inform your design decisions. When you complete the thematic analysis, you'll be able to uncover hidden needs because you've gone beyond surface-level feedback and uncovered underlying user needs, motivations, and pain points. Thematic analysis also reveals patterns. It allows you to identify recurring themes and patterns in the feedback, revealing areas where multiple users are experiencing similar issues or expressing similar desires. Thematic analysis helps you prioritize feedback. By identifying the most common and impactful themes, you can prioritize your design efforts and focus on addressing the most critical user needs. Finally, thematic analysis provides a strong foundation for making informed design decisions that are based on a deep understanding of user feedback. Using thematic analysis enables you to learn as much as possible from user feedback. This information helps you grow professionally by making you a better UX designer. The best designers don't fear feedback, they crave it. In your role as a UX designer, proactively seek input. Don't wait for problems to surface. Get feedback at multiple stages, from rough sketches to polished prototypes. Remember, diverse perspectives matter. Seek input from fellow designers, users, stakeholders, and people outside the design world entirely. Use feedback as a positive force to grow your skills. By embracing feedback as a catalyst for growth, you're not just improving a single project, you're honing your critical thinking, expanding your design toolkit, and building the resilience that will serve you throughout your entire design journey.
Hi there. You've come to the end of this module, and it's time to review. By the end of this video, you'll be able to summarize the module key points and connect them to career development by highlighting what tasks an entry-level UX designer would do related to the module's content. Ready? Let's begin. Have you ever wondered how your favorite app or website came to be? Was it magic? Nope. It was a collaborative effort of UX designers working together to create a seamless digital experience for you. You learned all about the power of collaboration and building high-performance teams at the beginning of the module. These brainstorming sessions lead to lively discussions. Your team might be debating the best way to display product information or arguing over the perfect shade of blue for a button. Remember, it's all about finding common ground and creating something amazing together. You also learn during the module that collaboration isn't just about teamwork. It's about communication and crafting a story around your design, explaining why each element matters. This could be a presentation to your boss or a persuasive pitch to a client. And finally, you learned about the importance of giving and receiving feedback in UX design. Stop and consider the times you've had to provide constructive feedback on a friend's project or vice versa. In UX, feedback is your lifeline. It's how you refine your designs, making them even more user-friendly and intuitive. After you collaborate with your team, craft compelling stories to convey your designs, gather feedback, and iterate, your designs will come to life. Whether it's a simple online store or a complex healthcare portal, you've played a crucial role in shaping the user experience. Remember, all your hard work, the collaborations, the communication, the feedback, culminates in your UX portfolio. This is your chance to shine, to show the world the amazing digital experiences you've helped create. So, as this module comes to an end, raise a virtual toast, or a real coffee cup, to your journey as a UX designer. It's a world of collaboration, communication, and continuous learning. And remember, every click, every scroll, every tap, that's your impact on the digital world.
Hi there. Let's begin this last module, Portfolio Presentation and Job Resources. In it, you'll learn about your portfolio, assembling it and presenting it, Then you'll learn best practices for resume creation, job search, and interviewing. Finally, you'll explore UX job roles, continuing education, and professional development opportunities, and how to network within the UX design world. This is important stuff, so let's get right to it.
I've learned so much about UX design, but how do I actually land a job? It feels like there are a million paths to take.
Don't worry. Think of your job search as an opportunity to learn, grow, and make connections. And just like any great journey, you need the right tools. This is your UX passport, your portfolio. It's your ticket to showcasing your unique skills, your creative problem-solving abilities, and your deep understanding of user needs. It's a curated collection of your best work, demonstrating your ability to design intuitive and delightful user experiences that make a real impact. Your portfolio is your key to unlocking that dream UX role.
Wow, I didn't realize portfolios could be so creative and informative. But how do I build one that stands out?
That's exactly what you'll cover in this module. You'll learn how to curate your best work, craft a compelling presentation, and even discover tips for using PowerPoint like a pro. But this module isn't just about portfolios. You'll also learn how to navigate the entire job search landscape. You'll learn how to write an amazing resume that highlights your unique UX skills, ace interviews with confidence, and even discover strategies for connecting with other UX professionals to build your network and open doors to new opportunities. We'll explore everything from crafting the perfect elevator pitch to making a lasting impression on potential employers.
This is so exciting. I can't wait to put everything I learn into practice.
You've been on your UX journey for a while. Now, in this module, you'll gain the confidence and tools you need to take flight in your UX design career. So buckle up, get ready to polish your UX portfolio, and let's go. Your dream UX job awaits.
Your UX design portfolio is your calling card. It's how you demonstrate your skills, process, and the impact you've made on real projects. But the world of design portfolios is rife with myths and misconceptions that can lead you astray. In this video, we're debunking these myths, providing clear guidance on what makes a UX portfolio stand out and helping you showcase your work with confidence. By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe common misconceptions about portfolios and emphasize the importance of a strong process narrative. The first portfolio myth is quantity over quality. It's tempting to cram every project you've touched into your portfolio, but hiring managers and clients want to see your best work, not everything you've ever done. Be ruthless in your selection. 2 to 3 stellar case studies are worth far more than a dozen mediocre ones. Here's why more is not always better when it comes to your portfolio. Bombarding a hiring manager with too many case studies leads to overload, or what's called decision fatigue. Hiring managers lose focus, and it becomes harder for your best work to stand out. Including weaker projects makes it seem like you yourself aren't sure what your true strengths are. You might have missed storytelling opportunities. Great case studies have a narrative arc. With fewer projects to focus on, you have the space to dive deeper into your process, the challenges you faced, and the rationale behind your design decisions. This is far more engaging than a laundry list of work. Myth number 2. The visuals are the most important component. Although strong visuals are important, fixating on making your portfolio a masterpiece is a mistake. Clients or hiring managers aren't hiring you to design portfolios. What truly matters is showcasing your problem-solving process. How did you identify user pain points? What research methods did you use? How did you iterate on solutions in response to feedback? Myth number 3. My portfolio needs every trendy buzzword. Don't stuff your case studies with jargon. Instead, use clear, concise language that someone less familiar with UX can understand. Focus on telling a compelling story. Explain the why behind your design decisions and the outcomes you achieved. Myth number 4. Only finished projects matter. Sometimes the most interesting work is the work in progress. A well-documented case study of a project that encountered challenges and how you overcame them shows problem-solving skills that a perfectly polished final product might not. Don't be afraid to include projects that didn't launch if they showcase your thought process. Finally, myth number 5. My portfolio has to be a website. Although having your own website is great, it's not a must. A well-crafted slide deck can be just as effective, especially when starting out. The focus should be on the content of your case studies, not fancy web development. Now, let's dive into what makes individual case studies in your portfolio shine. Remember, context is king. Think of context as the why behind the work. Potential employers don't just want to see pretty designs, they want to know you understand the business goals and user needs that drive those designs. Start your case study with the problem statement. What specific pain point were users experiencing? What was the business problem your design aimed to solve? Next, describe your target audience. Be specific. For example, tech-savvy millennials is less helpful than busy healthcare professionals using the app in a fast-paced clinical setting. After the problem statement, list your constraints. Did you have a tight deadline, limited budget, technical limitations? Showing you can thrive within constraints is a plus. The next part of your case study should demonstrate how you think, not just the final output. Remember, potential employers and clients want to see the journey, not just the destination. Include process artifacts in your portfolio. These include rough sketches, whiteboard brainstorming photos, and even rejected wireframes that show your exploration of the problem space. You should also include user feedback. Did testing reveal unexpected insights? Explain how this feedback shaped your design iterations. Discuss the pivot points. Rarely does a project go in a perfect straight line. Highlight where you change direction based on data or feedback, showing your adaptability. Remember, metrics matter. Design isn't about making things pretty, it's about results. Back up your design decisions with numbers such as increased task completion rate by 20% or reduced error messages by 50%. Include impactful testimonials from real users about how your design made their lives easier. Warning, get permission first. Finally, own your role on the project. Collaboration is fantastic, but be specific about your part. Did you lead the competitive analysis? Own the creation of user personas? Design and conduct the usability tests? Honesty here is key. Each of your case studies should tell a story of a problem identified, a process of exploration and iteration, and an outcome that improved the experience for your users. And here's a bonus tip. Tailor your portfolio. If you're applying to a company that focuses on healthcare apps, lead with a case study that demonstrates your experience in that domain. Remember, your portfolio is a living document. Update it regularly as you gain new skills and work on exciting projects. Don't be afraid to get early feedback on your portfolio from mentors, peers, and even potential employers. And above all, let your passion for solving real problems through user-centered design shine through. That's what will truly set you apart.
Welcome, designers. This video will show you how PowerPoint, a tool you probably already know, can be your secret weapon for presenting your UX, UI designs like a pro. By the end of this video, you'll be able to export your presentation-ready designs from Figma, create design presentations that tell a story and explain your designs with visual impact. We're going to start from scratch, assuming you've got your design files ready. These could be screenshots or image files from Figma, Adobe XD, or even hand-drawn sketches you've scanned. The goal is to make your work shine and tell a compelling story. If you would like to present your designs in a laptop or phone frame, there are many Figma plugin options available to you to add to your files. You can then drag and drop your designs into a phone or laptop frame and export your designs with a more realistic context. To export, select the frames you wish to add to your presentation, select the image type, SVG, PNG, JPG, or PDF, then select Export Layers. After that, simply save it to a place that's easy to find. We'll come back to these soon. Let's start by setting up our PowerPoint. First things first, open up PowerPoint. You can choose a blank template or a simple theme. Remember, we want your designs to be the star. For this video, we'll be using the template that was provided in the project portfolio. But remember, you won't want to use a company-branded PowerPoint template unless you're presenting work on behalf of that company. Now, let's bring in your first design. Just as you've done before, navigate to Insert and then Pictures. Find the image you want and select Insert. Select your image and resize your design as needed. Use the cursor to drag and position it perfectly on the slide. Every good design needs context. Add a clear title at the top. Keep it concise and descriptive, like Homepage Wireframe or Mobile App Onboarding. Rather than creating blank slides and trying to make them all look cohesive, you can duplicate and edit your slides. Right-click on your slide in the left-hand panel and select Duplicate Slide. This is a handy trick to maintain a consistent look and feel as you move through your presentation. Now, simply replace the image on your duplicate slide with the next design in your project. Repeat this for each design you want to showcase. You've got a draft of your presentation. Now let's make your designs even more informative. PowerPoint has simple drawing tools that can make a big impact. Select Insert, then Shapes to add arrows, circles, or boxes. Use these to point out specific elements, like navigation menus, interactive buttons, or areas where you've applied a unique design pattern. When you present, it's important that you don't just show your designs, you explain them. Add text boxes next to your callouts. Briefly describe the design choices you've made, why you made them, and what problem they solve for the user. This is where you show off your UX expertise. To give your presentation a polished feel, add transitions between your slides. Select Transitions and choose a simple one like Fade or Push. Avoid anything too flashy. We want the focus to remain on your designs. If your project includes user flows, create a simplified version using PowerPoint's shape tools. This visualizes the user's journey through your design, giving the audience a deeper understanding of the experience you've crafted. As you wrap up, summarize your key design takeaways on a final slide. And of course, don't forget a thank you slide with your contact information. Before you present, explore the presenter view. It gives you notes and upcoming slides while your audience only sees your polished presentation. It's a great way to stay organized and confident. PowerPoint is an incredibly versatile tool for showcasing your UX, UI designs. Remember, practice your presentation, speak clearly, and most importantly, let your passion for design shine through. Your audience will appreciate your well-organized, easy-to-follow presentation. Thanks for watching, and happy designing.
Your UX design portfolio isn't just a collection of pretty projects. It's your chance to show hiring managers and potential clients that you understand how to identify real user needs and translate those needs into design solutions that make a difference. In this video, we'll unpack what makes a UX portfolio stand out, focusing on how to highlight your user-centric approach and problem-solving skills. By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe what hiring managers look for in a UX design portfolio. One of the first questions new UX designers ask is, do I need a fancy website for my portfolio? The answer is not necessarily. Especially early in your career, a well-structured slide deck can be incredibly effective. Your focus should primarily be on the content of your case studies. Hiring managers care more about your process and results than flashy web development skills. Another frequently asked question you might have when developing your portfolio is, how many case studies should I include? When it comes to case studies, think of them as opportunities to tell a compelling story about how you approached a problem, tackled user needs, and ultimately delivered a successful solution. Hiring managers will be more impressed with a few high-impact case studies than a list of every project you've ever touched. A curated selection demonstrates depth. 2 or 3 well-chosen case studies allow you to go deeper into each project, showcasing your entire UX design process: research, ideation, iteration, and testing. This paints a more comprehensive picture of your skills than a shallow overview of many projects. You also want to highlight specific strengths. With a curated selection, you can tailor your case studies to align with the specific UX roles you're applying for. This allows you to strategically demonstrate relevant skills and experiences, making a stronger first impression. Strive to keep your audience engaged. Hiring managers have limited time. A concise portfolio with focused case studies is easier to digest and leaves them wanting more, instead of feeling overwhelmed by a long list. A curated selection of projects sparks conversation. Compelling case studies with clear takeaways become conversation starters in interviews. They give you the opportunity to elaborate on your thought process and showcase your passion for user-centered design. You should choose case studies for projects on which you had a significant impact and that showcase a broad range of skills. Make sure that your case studies show and don't just tell. Here's how to take your case studies to the next level. Start by including metrics. Whenever possible, quantify the impact of your design. Did you improve conversion rates? Reduce support calls? Those hard numbers speak volumes. You should also include user quotes. Did a user rave about how your redesign made their workday less stressful? Include that, with permission, of course. This adds a human element that metrics alone can't. Be sure to own your role on the project. If a project was collaborative, be clear about your specific contributions. This demonstrates you can both work within a team and take ownership of your part of the process. You might also wonder what to do if you don't have much real-world experience. Don't panic. There are ways for you to build a compelling portfolio. For example, you might include a passion project, redesign a clunky app you use, or tackle a UX challenge in your community. This shows initiative. Another strategy for building your portfolio is to do pro bono work. See if a local nonprofit needs design help. It benefits them, and you gain a project to showcase. You could also work through a design challenge. Many online platforms offer UX challenges, often with the benefit of community feedback. Remember, your portfolio is an evolving document. As you gain new experiences and complete more projects, you can swap out older case studies that no longer represent your best work. By focusing on quality over quantity, you can create a UX design portfolio that effectively showcases your skills and sets you apart from the competition. Here's the key takeaway. Hiring managers aren't just looking for a visual wizard. They're looking for a problem solver. By structuring your portfolio case studies around the user needs you identified, how you iterated, and the positive impact you achieved, you'll demonstrate the type of UX thinking that will make you a valuable addition to any team.
Your UX design resume is often the first impression you'll make on potential employers. In this video, we'll go beyond the standard make it one-page advice and dive into strategies to make your resume stand out in a competitive field. We'll cover how to structure your content effectively, leverage keywords to beat applicant tracking systems, and tailor your resume for specific roles to land the interview. By the end of this video, you'll be able to explain resume formatting, keyword optimization, and tailoring resumes to specific job descriptions. Let's start with the first resume section. Although good formatting matters, it's just the start. Think of your resume like a mini portfolio. Start with the clear header. Your name and contact info should be easy to find. Include a link to your full portfolio, website, or slide deck, especially if your resume can't showcase visuals as effectively. Next, add a concise summary with 2 to 3 sentences highlighting your core UX skills and experience level. Avoid generic phrases like passionate problem solver. Instead, try UX designer with 3+ years of experience crafting user-centered e-commerce solutions. Now add a skills snapshot. Don't bury key skills in long paragraphs. A bulleted list lets hiring managers quickly scan for the software you have experience with, such as Figma, Sketch, and Adobe XD. The methodologies you've used, including user research, usability testing, and observation. Any specialized areas of experience, such as accessibility or mobile-first design. In the next section, present your work experience as case studies. Just listing job titles isn't enough. Think of each role as a way to tell a problem-solving story. Use strong action verbs. Avoid passive language like participated in. Instead, say led user interviews, design interactive prototypes, and analyze usability data. Define the context of your experience. Were you in a startup or large corporation? This info impacts the scope of projects. Briefly mention the company's area of business to orient the reader. If possible, quantify your results. Saying improved onboarding completion rate by 25% speaks far louder than redesign onboarding flow. The next section is where you want to put keywords to good use. Applicant tracking systems, ATSs, are software many companies use to filter resumes initially. Understanding how ATS software works can give you a competitive edge. ATS software scans your resume looking for matches to the job description. A high enough match might get you through to the next round, while a poorly formatted resume could land in the digital trash bin, even if you're highly qualified. How do you find the right keywords? Here's where close analysis of the job posting is essential. Start with the hard skills. These are easy. If they want someone proficient in Figma, having Figma clearly listed on your resume is a must. What about soft skills? ATS software is getting smarter. Look for repeated phrases like collaborative mindset or data-driven decision-making. Find ways to demonstrate these in your work experience descriptions. You should also look for industry jargon. Does a job focus on healthcare? Financial apps? Make sure you're using terminology that signals to the ATS that you understand the employer's domain. Aim to integrate keywords organically. No one enjoys reading a resume that feels like keyword soup. Instead of a skills section, weave the keywords into achievements. For example, you might say, conducted user interviews to uncover pain points in the checkout flow, leading to a 15% increase in conversions. Be sure to provide context. For example, saying you led usability testing, both moderated and unmoderated, to validate designs throughout the agile development process demonstrates a deeper understanding than just listing the buzzword. The key takeaway is that your resume must be about quality, not quantity. Overstuffing your resume with keywords will backfire if they don't make sense in the context of your actual experience. Focus on mirroring the language of the job you want in a way that showcases your genuine skills. Now let's talk about the art of tailoring. One generic resume won't cut it. Here's how to tailor it each time you apply. Lead your resume with relevance. Rearrange the order of past projects to emphasize those most similar to the job description. Cut the fluff. If a job focuses heavily on mobile app design, a project where you led website redesign is less crucial to highlight. And pay attention to keywords again. Tweak your summary and skills section slightly to better match the specific language used in the desired job posting. Here are some bonus tips for your UX design resume. Proofread it meticulously. Typos scream unprofessionalism, especially in a design-focused role. Get a fresh set of eyes on your resume if necessary. Next, if you're light on traditional work experience, highlight passion projects, pro bono work, or UX challenges as described in previous videos. Finally, iterate. Treat your resume as a living document. As you gain skills and complete new projects, update it. In conclusion, your resume is your first step in getting your foot in the door of exciting UX opportunities. By putting in the effort to craft a resume that's clear, results-focused, and optimized for the jobs you want, you'll significantly increase your chances of landing those coveted interviews. Landing your dream UX job starts with a stellar interview. Preparing for an interview goes beyond advice like dress professionally to explore the mindset shifts and communication techniques that separate good candidates from truly impressive ones. In this video, you'll learn how to showcase your UX skills, build rapport with interviewers, and leave them excited about the value you could bring to their team. By the end of this video, you'll be able to explain how to succeed in a UX design interview by highlighting key qualities employers look for and showcasing effective communication strategies. Let's start by exploring what interviewers really want. Although every company has its unique needs, there are some core traits highly valued across the board in UX designers. First, interviewers look for UX designers who have a problem-solving focus. Gorgeous visuals are only one piece of the UX puzzle. Interviewers want to see that you truly understand the core pain points users experience and have the ability to iterate towards solutions that address those needs. Emphasize your thought process, even if your initial ideas weren't perfect. This demonstrates adaptability and a focus on the best outcome, not just defending your first concept. Interviewers also look for UX designers with storytelling skills. Your portfolio should already hint at this, but the interview is where it comes to life. Instead of dry recitation of project tasks, craft a narrative. Set the stage by explaining the user problem you are solving, the research methods you employed, and the key insights you uncovered. Then connect the dots to how your design choices directly address those pain points. This type of clear narrative makes your work stick in the interviewer's mind. Interviewers look for a collaborative mindset. UX design is inherently a team sport. Show the interviewer that you're not only open to feedback, but that you also understand how to integrate it in a constructive manner. Highlight situations where you had to work within technical constraints or adapt your designs based on input from stakeholders. Demonstrating you can thrive in a collaborative environment is vital. Interviewers also look for curiosity and growth. The UX field is constantly evolving with new tools, best practices, and user expectations. Expressing a passion for ongoing learning lets the interviewer know you won't become stagnant. Talk enthusiastically about new methodologies you're eager to try, or resources you use to stay on top of UX trends. This signals you'll be an asset to their team for the long haul. Be prepared to show interviewers your work. Your portfolio provides a visual foundation, but the interview lets you go deeper into the why behind your design decisions. Avoid simply presenting the finished product as if it magically appeared. Walk the interviewer through your rationale. Explain why you chose a specific prototyping method. For example, I opted for a low-fidelity wireframe at this stage to get stakeholder buy-in quickly. Discuss how your tool choices align with your project goals at each stage. This showcases your understanding of the full UX process, not just your ability to use software. When you show your portfolio, you'll find it tempting to present a smooth, streamlined project path. But interviewers are savvy. They know the reality is messier. Be upfront about challenges that arose. Explain how user testing uncovered a misconception you had, or how technical limitation forced you to rethink an interaction. Crucially, don't just describe the problem. Emphasize how you pivoted. This demonstrates your adaptability and a laser focus on the best user outcome, even if it means your original idea didn't make the cut. Finally, remember to give metrics where you can. Quantifiable results lend serious weight to your work. Avoid vague claims like, users found the flow smoother. Instead, strive to include specifics. Did a redesign improve a task completion rate or decrease calls to customer support? Those hard numbers speak volumes about the real-world impact of your design choices. Be prepared with questions for your interviewers. Asking thoughtful questions shows you're engaged, not just passively waiting for an offer. You could ask questions that are team-focused, such as, what does the typical collaboration flow look like between UX and development? This shows you see the big picture. Another area to ask questions about is the company itself. Research the company and their recent work. You can then say, I saw your product launch for XYZ. How did the UX team contribute to its success? Asking questions like this one reveals you've done your homework. You can also ask questions about opportunities for professional growth at the company. For example, you might ask, what kind of professional development support is available? Questions like this one demonstrate your long-term value mindset. It's inevitable that interviewers will ask you tricky questions. For example, they might ask you about your weaknesses. If you get a question like this, don't deflect. Choose a real area of improvement, then highlight steps you're taking to address it. This shows self-awareness and initiative. Another question you might encounter is why us? Don't respond with cliches. Tie your answer to their specific work and your unique strengths. I'm passionate about insert company niche, and my experience with insert your relevant skill will allow me to contribute right away. Remember, an interview is a two-way street. While they are assessing you, don't be afraid to assess whether their company culture and values align with your own. Confidence in your skills, a focus on collaboration, and genuine curiosity are the most attractive traits you can bring to any UX interview.
In the world of UX design, who you know can be just as important as what you know. Networking allows you to build relationships, learn from others in the field, and potentially even uncover hidden job opportunities. In this video, we'll explore strategies for effective networking as a UX designer, covering online and in-person tactics, as well as tips for following up and making those connections last. By the end of this video, you'll be able to build connections with industry professionals by attending relevant UX events. Let's start by examining why networking matters for UX. First, there's often a hidden job market. Many positions never get posted publicly. Networking exposes you to opportunities others might not know about. Second, networking lets you tap into the knowledge of those further along in their careers through mentorship and growth. Seasoned professionals can offer invaluable advice, helping you avoid early career pitfalls and accelerate your learning. Third, UX is about collaboration. Networking builds your community of people to bounce ideas off, collaborate with, and celebrate successes alongside. Finally, networking helps you stay current. The UX field evolves rapidly. Networking keeps you informed on emerging trends and tools before they're mainstream. Your connections might even get you access to the beta version of a cutting-edge tool before your colleagues have heard of it. You use different strategies for networking online versus in-person events. Let's start by looking at online networking. Start by optimizing your LinkedIn information. Treat your profile as a living portfolio, not just a digital resume. Showcase projects, share insightful articles, and engage in relevant groups. Remember, visuals matter. Include screenshots or case study summaries for your past projects. This makes your work immediately tangible. Don't be shy about asking past colleagues or professors for LinkedIn endorsements. Social proof adds credibility. And remember to use industry-relevant terms throughout your profile as part of your job experience, not just as a keyword. Go beyond the big names in UX design. A group focused on UX for healthcare is naturally a better fit for making strong connections than a giant general UX group. Explore niche UX communities on platforms like Slack or Discord. Discord, although known for gaming, increasingly hosts professional communities. Its format lends itself more to ongoing conversations than LinkedIn. Are you aiming to network within your own city? Seek out local groups, even if they have fewer members. In-person meetups might be possible down the line. As you connect with online UX designers, aim to be a giver, not just a taker. Share relevant resources, answer questions thoughtfully, and offer to connect others. This builds your reputation as an active member of the community. Let's move on to in-person networking strategies. You might wonder where you find fellow local UX designers. Websites like meetup.com are treasure troves of industry-specific events, from casual talks to portfolio review nights. Keep in mind that smaller groups offer better chances for actual conversation than giant speaker events. If you see a recurring meetup you love, offer to help the organizer. This is a fast way to become a known face in the UX design community. Look for conferences in UX design. Although pricier, these offer concentrated networking alongside valuable learning opportunities. You'll also have a chance to network at pre-conference workshops or even after parties. Research speakers in advance so that you can approach them with specific questions about their presentations. Look for scholarship programs if budget is a concern. You can also volunteer. Offering UX support to nonprofits gets you working with real users while expanding your network organically. Here are some tips for in-person success. Before you walk into an in-person event, make sure you have your elevator pitch ready. An elevator pitch is a concise 30-second introduction that covers your experience level, the type of UX work you're passionate about, and what you're looking for, such as mentorship, job leads, and so on. Show genuine interest in others. Saying, "What projects are you excited about lately?" is far better than rattling off your own accomplishments. Emphasize quality over quantity. It's better to have a few in-depth conversations at an event than try to collect everyone's business card. When you make a connection through networking, be sure to follow up. Reach out within a few days of meeting someone, referencing a specific point of your conversation to jog their memory. Be sure to take advantage of LinkedIn. Connect digitally with a personalized message, even if you exchange business cards. Referencing your chat keeps it from feeling generic. Finally, offer value. Did you promise to send them an article? Found an online event they might like? Following through builds trust. If you're an introvert, here are some bonus networking tips for you. Before you attend an event, prepare by researching the attendee list or speaker roster. Identifying a few people you'd like to connect with takes the pressure off. Take breaks to recharge. It's okay to step away from the crowd if feeling overwhelmed. A few minutes alone can work wonders for social stamina. Finally, you might try online first. Sometimes connecting with someone via LinkedIn and referencing that before an event makes the in-person chat less daunting. Remember, networking is a long game. Don't be discouraged if you don't land your dream job after one meetup. Focus on building genuine relationships, being helpful to others, and letting your passion for UX shine through. Soon, you'll have a supportive network to propel you throughout your entire design journey.
Hi there. You've come to the end of this module, and it's time to review. By the end of this video, you'll be able to summarize the module key points and connect them to career development by highlighting what tasks an entry-level UX designer would do related to the module's content. Ready? Let's begin. Congratulations! You've completed the last module in this UX design course. Remember the curiosity you had at the beginning? Now look at you, a budding UX designer ready to take on a design job. Throughout this module, you've been hard at work. You learned how to craft a portfolio that tells a story. It's more than just pretty pictures. Your portfolio showcases your thought process, how you research user needs, brainstorm solutions, and iterate on ideas. You've learned to highlight your strengths and focus on user-centered design. You also learned to create engaging presentations with PowerPoint. You can now confidently communicate your design choices, emphasizing the why behind your decisions and demonstrating the impact your designs have on the user experience. Along the way in this module, you learned how to build a resume that opens doors. You know how to tailor your resume to different UX roles, emphasizing relevant skills and projects. Even if you're new to the field, your resume reflects your passion and potential. Finally, at the end of the module, you learned how to navigate UX interviews like a pro. You've practiced common interview questions, learned how to articulate your design process, and discovered how to showcase your soft skills like communication and collaboration. And your education doesn't end here. You explored the various UX roles. Are you interested in user research? Perhaps information architecture is your calling. Or maybe you're aiming to be a versatile UX generalist. You're now equipped to network with other designers, attend industry events, and continue learning to stay ahead of the curve. This field is constantly evolving, and your passion for user-centered design will guide you as you grow. Remember, every digital product, every interface, every interaction is an opportunity to improve someone's life. Go make your mark and create some great designs.
Congratulations on completing this in-depth dive into the world of UX design. This marks the completion of the final course in the UX Design Certificate. Well done. By now, you've gained a solid foundation in the principles of visual design, accessibility, the power of AI tools, effective collaboration, and strategies for showcasing your work to land that dream UX role. Let's recap the highlights and discuss how to turn this knowledge into ongoing growth as you launch your UX career. By the end of this video, you'll be able to summarize course key points and connect them to career development by identifying skills you want to continue developing to advance in a UX designer role. In the Visual Design module, you learn that visual design has the power to make or break a user's experience. Even the most brilliant functionality is useless if people can't figure out how to use it. The example shown illustrates both a good and a bad online shopping checkout experience. You started this module by mastering the fundamentals: color theory, typography, and layout and hierarchy. Beautiful interfaces are nice, but effective ones are paramount. That's why you practice creating high-fidelity mockups and, critically, ran them through usability testing. Did the colors you chose create an unintended bottleneck? Did that cool font turn out to be illegible at a small size? User feedback is essential to bridge the gap between how a design looks and how it actually works for real people. Finally, you explored the distinct considerations for web versus mobile design. Understanding the limitations of screen sizes, differing input methods, touch versus mouse, and on-the-go usage patterns is vital to tailoring designs for the context where they'll be used. In the Accessibility and Inclusive Design module, you learned that too often accessibility is treated as a checklist to be completed at the end of a project. True inclusive design goes far deeper. You learned it's about proactively considering the full spectrum of human abilities and experiences. This includes permanent disabilities, such as visual impairments or motor limitations, but also situational ones, a distracted user on a crowded bus, and temporary conditions, an injury that limits how someone interacts with the device. By deeply understanding accessibility guidelines like WCAG, you didn't just get a compliance rulebook. You learned the reasoning behind them. This empowered us to design intelligently for things like color contrast, alternative text, and keyboard navigation. These choices benefit everyone, not just those with disabilities. Moreover, inclusive design is where empathy meets business savvy. When you design for those often excluded, you unlock a massive and often underserved market. Seniors, people with language barriers, users in regions with limited internet connectivity, these are all potential customers who are neglected when accessibility isn't at the forefront of the design process. In the AI for UX module, you learned how AI offers exciting possibilities for UX designers. You explored how AI-powered tools can automate tedious parts of the process. Imagine AI generating multiple wireframe options based on your project brief, or suggesting content variations tailored to different user personas. This can free up your time to focus on the higher-level strategic thinking that machines can't yet replicate. However, you also emphasized the importance of approaching AI with a critical eye. AI is only as good as the data it's been trained on. If that data contains biases, those biases will be reflected in the outputs. This highlights the ongoing need for human designers to ensure AI-generated solutions don't inadvertently exclude certain groups or perpetuate harmful stereotypes. Ultimately, the most successful UX designers will be those who harness the power of AI ethically and strategically, while always maintaining a firm grasp on the human-centered fundamentals that no algorithm can replace. The Collaboration and Communication module taught you that even the most brilliant UX designer can't work in isolation. This module honed your skills in collaborating with developers, stakeholders, and other cross-functional teams. You learned how to communicate your design reasoning clearly, even to those without a UX background, and how to gracefully integrate feedback in a way that moves projects forward. In the Power of Your Portfolio and Beyond module, we wrapped up by tackling the nuts and bolts of crafting a compelling UX portfolio. This isn't just about showcasing pretty pictures. You went in-depth on storytelling, highlighting problem-solving skills, and using metrics to prove our impact. You also learned resume optimization, interviewing strategies, and understanding the various job roles within the UX field. This course provided you with a strong foundation. But UX design is a field of constant learning. Commit to continued growth in the following areas. Stay curious. Read UX blogs, follow industry leaders, and stay on top of emerging technologies. Build and share. Don't just consume knowledge, put it into practice with passion projects or contribute to open-source design communities. Seek mentorship. Find experienced UX professionals to guide you, whether formally or informally. Finally, network. Attend events, join online communities, and connect with those who share your passion for designing exceptional experiences. The most valuable UX skill isn't proficiency in a specific tool. Those will change. It's an unwavering focus on the user. Make users the centerpiece of your designs. Remain adaptable and embrace the exciting journey of becoming a truly impactful UX designer. Finally, congratulations on successfully completing the Microsoft UX Design Professional Certificate. Your determination and commitment have really paid off. May today be just the first of many proud moments you have in your career as a UX designer.